FGC Job Squad, your premier Tekken podcast.
Hey everybody, this is FGC Job Squad 22. I'm your host Kadar, aka Codys. I got my co-host Ian, aka Pickle, here with me.
What's up?
And we have the guest I'm most excited for by a country mile. He's your TO's favorite TO. He's was born to make you happy. He's honestly he's the kingpin of the San Diego FGC. He's fast. Okay, good. What do you like to go by? Fan Sense, Cody, Unprotected Sex, or just Cody?
I have so many, but it doesn't matter. Whatever, I think I've just been around so long. I let people call whatever they were comfortable with. So I still have people calling me Fast Sense. I still have people calling me Unprotected. But it's whatever. I think both those names are really cool. But it's whatever you would like, Kadar. Today is your day. So
okay,
it's up to you, man.
We're gonna rock with Cody, and Cody's he's the guy in San Diego, or maybe SoCal, or a lot of SoCal, maybe all of San Diego North County involved, and he's just the man. He's the TO. He's the leader, I guess, of the FGC there, and we really wanted him on because he's just someone we've always looked up to, I think, and yeah. Ian, how do you know?
Sound emotional,
about Cody?
I
gotta clear my throat. But yeah, Ian, Cody. Express why it's important that we have Cody on, I guess.
Damn. What, early T7? I think you were the second tournament I went to, Cody. I think I went to WNF, and then someone told me about TTF. Do you know Baines?
Yeah.
Yeah, SoCal Baines. Yeah, that's the dude that like set me up with getting in contact with your Facebook group.
Yeah,
I met him at WNF, and then he's like, "Oh, you're from San Diego. You must know TTF." And I was like, "What are you talking? Yeah, what are you talking about?" I just drove up to WNF because I've been watching it for so long. Yeah, and then he told him about pretty much like the whole SDTekken scene, and then he got me into the group, and then just told me to reach out to you on Friday. I think I went probably that same week because WNF Wednesdays, and you host TTF like every week. So I think I showed up that same week, and then I think I DM'd you. I was trying to see if you can open up the door for me. You're like, we just walk in here. Like, think about it back then. I've never walked into some, stranger's house to play Tekken, so it's obviously fucking weird. But
yeah,
now it's just so casual. It's like, dude, remember that one time I ended up, I think I was in your house like on the wrong Tekken training day, dude, and I was just hanging on chairs, and then I think I saw J-Ram in there, and I was like, hey, dude, we're there. But yeah, he's like, it's Tuesday, man. Like, we're doing Wednesday, Wednesday Tekken sessions, and it was Tuesday. And I was like, what the fuck are you saying?
I do remember that, and I mean, just to let you know, also, you're like not the first person to like have like walked into like the side of the house to the backyard. Or, like, it was just like, so,
I'm not messaging everybody like, where the fuck are you guys at, dude? Like, fuck, like, where's everyone? I'm here first, and then it's the wrong day, and then I walk down and I see you like coming home from work. You're just driving up. I'm like, hey, dude, my bad.
So wrong day. we have to preface all this. So Cody here. He has a unique establishment where he runs the tournaments out of his house, right? It's not like a brick and mortar venue, which means physical location for
thank you, Kadar.
The ESL people at home. But he runs it out of his house, and it's not something that a lot of people can say. When I say he runs it out of his house, I'm sure you have a friend like, I have a friend who hosts, get-togethers and fighting games. No, he'll have 150, 200 people in his house.
Yeah, he has a whole Warzone lobby in his house, dude.
Yeah, it's actually insane. So it's a very unique kind of local scene, I guess. So and I'm gonna say, I'm gonna piggyback on what Ian said. My story of like discovering TTF is way more ashamed. So when I moved to San Diego, it was like 2015, and I deleted Facebook when I left. I was like, dude, this site serves nothing for me. It's just getting me pissed off all day, and so I deleted it, right? And then I went to like a Smash tournament. God, this is so fucking embarrassing. But I met Luke and Zion there, right? And Zion came up to me and was like, I told Zion that I played Street Fighter, or I was looking forward to Street Fighter 5 at that point. I told him I was playing Street Fighter 4, and he's like, okay, you got to go to TTF. come pick me up this day and we'll go. And the first time I went, I was like, oh my god, dude, this is just insane. The comic books all in the front room on that table, I remember, and just all the posters on the wall. Like just walking to someone's home, but it's like, yeah, this is a home dedicated to gaming kind of thing. I was like, this is so cool. All the statues everywhere, and then you just obviously everyone talks about the Sono buttons. You just hear them coming up the driveway. You just throughout echoing kind of down the street. It's actually just so magical. I mean, it's been described as Narnia, I'm sure, by people and stuff like that. And it's, you know, you hear those buttons, you come in, and you everyone's fucking cool once you get in there. But it's, you know, kind of intimidating the first time you go. But I remember the first time I went, I was like, dude, this is awesome. And I think it was for like Street Fighter 5, like something like I think when it first came out. Or I think I came a little bit like one before that, but I'm not positive. But yeah, I remember it was like a round robin, got my ass kicked like never before, and I was like, holy shit, this is crazy. But yeah, so I guess that's a little preface. But we'll get to the tournament and all that, the tournament origins and everything like that. But so Cody, we always start with the origin stories. How'd you get into like gaming and all that type of stuff? Like, I know you're half Japanese. I wonder if that has anything to do with it.
Yeah,
it's like in your blood or something like that. But yeah, you can kick it off.
I don't know. I've been gaming a lot. I never really owned my own system until Sega came out. I just remember a lot of when Nintendo was out. We would visit like my cousins in Vegas, and they always had a Nintendo. So that was like pretty much the only time I would be able to play like a NES. But then it was not until like when Sega came out, whatever that Christmas was, like I got a Sega and my first game was Sonic. So I remember, I think that's why I always liked Sonic more than Mario. But and after that, it just became a thing. Like
was
gaming,
it Sonic 1 or 2?
It was Sonic 1. It was Sonic 1. And it just always was a thing. And then my cousins, they were all into gaming. But I was really into Sonic and Sega, and then the Super Nintendo came out, and then I got Super Nintendo. Or I don't know if it came out before or after, but I know I got the Super Nintendo, and it was pretty much every Christmas I got whatever system. I was lucky enough to get whatever system was out that time. So then the N64 came out. I remember that. I got that, and then I don't know. I don't know. I just always played everything. I always just was lucky enough to have a rich grandparent, I guess. I mean,
I don't want to sound sexist, but did it help that you grew up with girls in the house? Because like my sister didn't really play games growing up. I was able to like wrestle the games away from her. I'm like, get out of here.
No. Well, man, now that you bring that up, there's like a lot of bad memories of like having family get-togethers of like. I was like, you know, those like pictures of like, you know, oh yeah, like I'm playing like video games with my little sister, but like their controller's not plugged in. It was one of those where, but then it just got worse where, I have two younger sisters, and we would have like when our family was still together, we would have like a lot of get-togethers with family members and stuff, and we have not a really big family, but we have cousins and stuff, like a lot of cousins from my dad's side. So like the big thing, like Christmas and stuff, we would get together at my house, and the big game was GoldenEye. So we would always play that game a lot. But then if my sisters would ever get mad, they would literally just like pull the cartridge out of the 64 and like run off with it.
Oh god.
Yeah, so I mean, and it was just not that. It was like even like before, like with the Super Nintendo and Sega, like they would always just find like if they would just get mad, they would just like that's like the one thing they would do, or like somehow rip the memory card out when it was saving and just like ruin everything. But yeah,
I was such a horrible older brother. Like I struck so much fear into my little sister that she would never even dream of doing some shit like that.
I think like it was,
but you're like a way nicer person to me. So, but like
it was,
I would have kicked her ass.
No, I mean, no, I mean, it's not like I haven't done that before. I mean, I've been like so mad that maybe I would push my sister or be like, "Hey, it's your fault that I died," type of thing. But then the thing is, I had my dad and mom would just like beat the shit out of me if I ever did that or they heard me. That. But when my like sisters would pull the cartridge out and stuff, it was all right, you know. But but gaming wise, but then in the end, like my sisters were like the N64 era, I guess they got to learn like to play and like it because they really liked Mario Party. So that's like the one game that we all got together and play too because they really enjoyed that game. But no, like I was just always loved gaming. But I think like a really big influence, and I don't think I ever told them that though, but I always like kind of bring it up to my friends, is that my older cousin, his name is Brian, but he was way older than us, and he had a PlayStation, and I would always kind of spend the night at my uncle's house with them because he was like my he's my cousin, but whatever, I'm not gonna get into it. But he's my cousin, and he would visit his my uncle and stuff, and then we would all be at the house on the weekend, and he would bring his PlayStation. and we would always just watch. And he was the older one, so we would always just watch him play whatever was like new. So I didn't have a PlayStation yet, but he did, and we would watch him play Final Fantasy VII. I think I felt like I would always like wait, like be excited to wait for like Saturday to like go to their house because I would want to watch him play Final Fantasy VII. And the cool thing was like he would like have two files. It was like his file and then the file like, oh, we're gonna
the
go
streaming
to, like,
file.
The streaming file, yeah, basically.
Yeah.
So it was
dude,
that
for real, dude. That was OG streaming. Like my little sister always watched me play those long RPGs.
And like I never played it because like I don't want to bother him. And then like every time his brother asked my other cousin, like he would just beat shit out of him. And it was always thought it was funny. You know what I mean? I'm like, all right, let's not be like this cousin and let's be like the cool cousin and just not bother him. You know what I mean? So I would always watch him play, and then dude, he was all about it. He printed, I don't know if you guys, you probably saw it, like GameFAQs. He printed the whole guide out of like, it's still on GameFAQs, I think, that Final Fantasy VII guide, but he printed everything out, put it in like this folder. I remember he gave it to me, like he like passed it down like a long time ago, but it was really cool. And another game too was Resident Evil 1. We'd watch him play a lot. Dude. And that one has a really big place, because I remember we would all watch him play that. It would be like my cousins, my dad, my uncle, be watching my cousin play that. And it was never scary to me because it was like a mystery science theater experience where like my dad and uncle would just talk shit about everything and just like we'd all be laughing.
Oh, really?
And we got through the game a lot easier, you know what I mean? But
yeah.
But I think like my but then back to the Final Fantasy VII, I was like, dude, this game is fucking amazing. You know what I mean? Like the characters are cool, like the summons are awesome. Like this is just ridiculous. Like these are like the best graphics I ever seen.
Yeah, all the secrets, the secret characters. Like you'd go to school, people were like, "Oh, Vincent." Or
and then I remember it was I don't think it was in Christmas or his birthday. It was like I had to have this. Like I was like, "Hey, grandma, like can we go to like KB? It's KB Toys." And yeah, I got it. I remember my first game for PlayStation was Final Fantasy VII, and man, yeah. And then like you said, like that's always one of my favorites or that style because like just the open world map, the secret characters, all the side quests. Like I feel like the newer ones really don't have that. And like the secret characters are optional stuff, and just I don't know. It's just that game. And I don't know. I don't want to sound like a dick rider when it comes down to Final Fantasy VII, but I don't know. That game just means a lot to me because of just like with my cousin, and it was just an awesome game.
Dude, I'm gonna say. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say it usually happens with all the games that were like your first one, like your first ever of whatever title. It's usually those are usually your favorite ones for that.
That's
same reason.
So I think when people like say that, like, oh man, but then I always remind them like that. Well, this is like the first game that I ever experienced. I was like, man, this is amazing, and like you know what I mean. Like it was. It could have been any. Some for people's 8, but after that, I enjoyed like every single Final Fantasy. And the joke was always like every Christmas, new one come out. And my dad's like, "Is this really the Final Fantasy?" I'm like, okay, "Good one, good one, Dad." But
it's like a layup dad joke.
Yeah. So yeah. But no, and then just after that, like every system I didn't get a Dreamcast, but luckily enough, I had my best friend. I'll say my best friend Dre. If you guys know Dre, he literally lived up the street, and I never had a Dreamcast, but he had a Dreamcast, so I got to experience like that whole system, which was like I think one of the best systems. I don't know, there's just too many, man. But I just in the end I just like a lot of gaming, man. Like every system except for the Xbox, the OG Xbox I never got. That was the only system I probably never got. But I can't like it just goes everywhere where it's just like everything, man.
Dude, the Dreamcast, if I've told this, I fucking stop me, but I wanted it so bad. Like I'd go to the library and the internet and fucking look up shit about the Dreamcast all day. And I think a year after, right? Like I had just wanted the Dreamcast so bad, and I saved up like maybe like $100, but then they announced that they were discontinuing it like a year into it. Like literally, it was so fast. Like you can look this up. Like I think a year after the Dreamcast had been out, they announced that like they weren't making anymore or some shit, right?
I think it was just way before its time, man. Like it was just. And then it also kind of got screwed over by just burning everything. But I mean, it was like probably
no protection.
Yeah, but it was literally probably like one of the best systems out. You know what I mean? Like it was just like it was amazing.
Yeah, and we went to Funkoland, and like my dad had the other half, I had the half. Like we made the deal. I think Sonic Adventure 2 had just come out, right? It was like a year in or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was just so excited. Like, dude, I've seen all the little Real Player. Remember Real Player on computers?
I don't.
It was like a QuickTime. It was like fucking OG QuickTime, but I remember just watching all the trailers. Anyway, the guy at the thing said, "Dude, just wait for the PS2," and he talked my dad out of it. And I was so pissed, but it was like the actual best thing that ever happened to like my gaming life. Even though the Dreamcast was sick, like the PS2 just had so much shit. Like
Yeah, hell yeah.
Like RPG wise, but no, dude, that's
The PS2 was probably one of the best systems ever, man. Like I'm not gonna lie with the games and stuff, but
yeah, as far as Japanese games. But all right, so you know, you didn't mention fighting games at all the whole time. I figured that you might, but how'd you find an interest in fighting games?
I mean, I played fighting games, but like Mortal Kombat, like I think every story starts off the same, right? Like, yeah, I played Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter, but am I really playing Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter? It's just I'm literally just getting like my younger sisters in the corner and just sweeping them in like MK because like I didn't even know that there was a block button in that game. Like, yeah, that would start. We all played it.
Oh yeah, the Genesis didn't have enough buttons.
Yeah, you had to like press start, and it was like the block button. And then, well, yeah. So if you guys don't know, I just found out like not recently, but yeah. But anyway, before like, yeah, basically if you had a Sega and you were poor, you only had the original controller that had 3 buttons. And if you know fighting games, usually have like Mortal Kombat had 4, and then like Street Fighter had 6. So you would have to like press start to switch to like the kicks or something. But
what? Isn't that crazy? It's fucking nuts, dude.
But me being a kid and not knowing that, like, I just only thought there were punches. You know what I mean? Or like, there's no blocking in Mortal Kombat. You know what I mean? Like, so it was like, like all those joke stuff. Like, you know, like they would tell on me, like you know, stop, you know, sweep. You know what I mean? Just doing those moves. It was pretty funny.
Yeah.
But no, and I remember we played Tekken a lot. Or Tekken 2 or 3, whatever it was out. Like, I mean. But like I said, like I was never really into that game. But I just remember like me and my cousins would always play it, and we'd always try to like copy the moves. Like literally, my like cousin, she got like the Mad Axes throwdown. It was pretty cool, man. She would do it on my cousin, and we'd always just laugh because it looked pretty convincing, man. But no, we played fighting games a lot, like Killer Instinct and stuff. But I mean, we were just playing it. Like I didn't like know there was like all these combos and shit. We're just mashing buttons and everything. But yeah, that's about that. And when did I get into fighting games? That wasn't until maybe 2000. I graduated 05, maybe 03 or 04 is when I really got into fighting games. There used to be there is a mall by my house that we would hang out at a lot. And the layout of that mall basically was downstairs, there was a Wizards of the Coast. And if you guys don't know what Wizards of the Coast is, like they make Magic the Gathering and they had their own store, which was pretty much like a board game, card shop, internet cafe. You'd play Counter-Strike. I mean, there are so many memories there. Because I played Magic a lot. And then upstairs was an arcade, which was Tilt, that I in the future ended up working at. But so pretty much every Friday after school we'd get dropped off there. Me, Dre, it was like all our big group of friends would all be playing Magic in the tournament. Lagade, if you guys all know that guy and everything, would be at Tilt playing Marvel 2 and whatever was up there. So I mean, I would watch them play, but then again, I didn't know that there was like this whole scene and like a tournaments and stuff for like there is for Magic, I guess. And then I just always thought it was cool watching them. They were doing like I think Marvel 2 maybe just came out, so everyone's excited, waiting for all the characters to get unlocked and all this shit. And then
wait, so I'm gonna expose myself, but
yeah.
What do you have to do to unlock all the characters in Marvel 2?
I want to say they were time released, like Tekken 4 was and Tekken 5. I think they're either time released or that you have to get enough points. Like everyone has to kind of work together and play like the single player and get enough points. But I want to say I know for Tekken 4 it was time released, I believe. But yeah, I believe it's either time released or like a point system or something. Because I think if you go to the menu in Marvel 2, like in the arcade, there's like points on the bottom or something. But then I wouldn't know that much either because I really wasn't into it yet. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then so what ended up happening was I noticed at like our high school, like people were like talking about Tekken a lot, and then all this stuff. And then I was like, oh, this game's at the arcade, and then I was like, I'll try it out. And I was playing it, and I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I was using like Paul and some other character.
Was it Tekken 3?
No, this is the Tag 1. This is Tag 1. So I was playing that, and then I didn't know anything about it, but I was like, I found out Paul's like unblockable. I was like, oh man, this like kills people in one hit. Like I'm the best. Blah blah blah. Oh, yeah. And then I was already friends with Lagade since like junior high, and then he was talking about it, and I was like, dude, I bet I can kick your ass in this game. You know what I mean? And pretty much what happened was that we met up at the mall, and he fucking fucked me up like so bad with like real combos, and And I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you nerd. Like, this like, not like that, though. But I was like, dude, what the hell? And I thought I was just going to kill him with, like, unblockables and shit. But he fucked me up. And then after that was pretty much like, you're like, dude, like, how do you do that? You know what I mean? It was one of those stories, like, you know, like how do you do that? And then he introduced me to, like, just a whole new world. And like I said, like, I always say, it's like Narnia. Like, I would never knew, like, this shit would have existed if it was, I look up to that. Like, he's, like, one of my top heroes, I guess, when it comes to FGC shit. Because he's the one that introduced me into the scene, and like I'm like forever grateful for that. But he told me about like Battle by the Bay, Evo. He's been to them, like the ones in Pomona. I think he was there during the Daigo Perry thing. He's lucky. I won't say lucky, but like his dad lives in LA, so he'd go up there and visit. So he already knew about Super Arcade. He knew about like Regency, Family Fun. He was already there playing like. He was doing this all like I didn't even know he was like, you know what I mean? Like this was like my like hobby was Magic, his hobby was fighting games.
Damn. So he would never know that shit, dude. Like that he knows all this shit, and like, is that because he's like the most chill? Or for me, like he seems super quiet.
Well, it's that too, because when we're hanging out, yeah, well, like he never really talks about it. I mean, I knew he played fighting games because every Friday I would watch him play, but then I'd never like was like ask him like, oh, is there like a scene for this? You know what I mean? Like I just didn't know any better because we're still like, you know, we're not carrying and just like fucking around at the mall and just doing all this crazy shit.
So he was like Morpheus to you, like it's
just like, you know, those movies where it's like, you know, teach me, you know what I mean? Like you just get your ass. I don't know if you watch One Piece or like One Punch Man, where you're like, you know, he gets, you know, Saitama fucks him up and Genos is like, teach me, you know what I mean? Like that was pretty much what it was. And so I mean that's how I got into fighting games. And then the first fighting game I ever got into competitively, though, that I was trying to learn was Third Strike. That was the first competitive Street Fighter that I learned, because that one, it didn't just come out. I mean, it was at the, like, I don't want to say I don't know the timeline, but it was not as like popular. And 4 it wasn't out until like 5 or 4 years later or whatever. But no, that was the game I was playing. And I think Tekken 4 just came out. 5 was about to come out soon, like later on. It was just that.
Who'd you play in Third Strike? I didn't know you played Third Strike.
I played Ken. I tried to learn Alex. Yeah. In the beginning, I tried to learn Alex. Because like I looked up to KSK, if he's like a Japanese Third Strike player. But he's Alex, and then I'll get my ass kicked by I'm just gonna say so. That so when I was training, like if you guys know like Lagade, like I don't want to like hype this guy up, but dude, this guy was probably like the best at every fighting game, and he won't admit it probably, but even like other players from other places will say, yeah, he's pretty damn good. I wouldn't like doubt to say that he's probably like top 3 in like everything he touched. Like,
is he just? I always wonder, is he just one of those guys who?
He's just one of those. I think he was like a Justin Wong, yeah, like a Justin Wong type of guy, like in every fighting game, like Marvel. Like I don't know, like I can talk this guy up, but so yeah, when I found out about Third Strike and everything, so I would go to his house, we would play, and at his ex at the time, she played and she was really good, and she was basically my like training partner. He would always like make us fight. And she would fuck me up so bad because she was using like Chun. And if you guys know, Chun is like the most broken character in that game, I would think. Or I mean, but anyway, I'm not gonna get into
Ian, it. Ian, he picked up Third Strike, and I think he's maining.
How do you know?
Chun's good. I know Jed told me, but
yeah, Rico and Jed told me. And I told him to stop training you immediately.
No, so. but in the end though, and then that's what I didn't know about tier list. I always just thought Alex was a cool character, and till this day, I'll do that where it's if I use any character I use in any game now, it's because I think they look cool, basically. So but yeah, so I always thought Alex looked cool, but then I kind of learned about tier lists, and like he was telling me, and then he's like, Ken is easy, you know, it was just Ken is easy and he's really good. So then I just started using him. But yeah, that was like my first competitive game really was Street Fighter Third Strike. And then it got
internet. Were you using the internet or anything?
Yeah, no, hell yeah, man. He told me about Shuriken. I mean, SRK. If you guys know that was probably one of the coolest websites. I mean, once I found out that the scene was real, I did everything in my power to figure out like it was insane, man. It was just like, yeah, SRK, combovideo.com, Video Opera, just all those things, man. I remember when we graduated in 05. 05 was the first. He told me about Evo, and that was the first Evo that was in Vegas. I think it was at the Red Rock. It was either Green Valley or Red Rock. So 05 is the first Evo that was in Vegas. So when we graduated, I think even before we were still in school, he's like, "Hey, want to go to Evo?" And I was like, "Oh fuck yeah, dude!" Like I was just already excited.
Oh,
and it was
badass.
and it was so cool because I graduated, and then when I graduated, my dad took me and my sisters to Hawaii, and then so it was that week, and the next week was Evo. So I spent a whole week in Hawaii, But the whole time I was there, I was on SRK, just like looking at like the money match threads, and it was so cool, man. I was excited, and we got back, and that Evo was so cool, is because I mean, everyone went, like or not everyone, but like Dre was there, like a lot of our friends from high school went, because we're just, hey, you want to go to this tournament, and this is when they were at MLG, so we all went, and then like. And I mean, we're not goody goods, man. If you guys know, like we're hella degenerates.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so what do you get up to? Because you're not even 21 at this point.
Well, I mean, I don't want to, I don't care, but it's just
blow it up.
Yeah, no. We love the Evo. I remember we all went to the house. We all met up at my house because we're all taking separate cars. My friend Eddie, he buys like 5 pounds of, I don't know how much, but he buys a giant brick of weed, and he's like, "Have you ever seen this before?" We just get like our friends to buy alcohol for us, and yeah, we're just like,
hell yeah.
I mean, yeah, if we're just degens, man, and it was always like that. But no, it was fun, man. And everyone was like, "You're not gonna have fun." I was like, "Dude, like, you know what I mean?" It was one of those like, it doesn't matter how old you are. We're playing fighting games, and like, show up, dude. We'll just show up too. But I mean, you're gonna find a way. You know what I mean? Like, if you really want to do something, you'll find a way. Plus, like our gen, we already had like full grown beards, and like my hair was like as long. You know what I mean? Like me and Dre looked like grown ass men. It was just but no one really like really questioned us when we were walking the casino floor. But half the time
you could gamble. You could gamble.
No, well, I didn't have that much money. You know what I mean? It was like
for sure.
I had money to eat, money match, and like just.
Yeah, it wasn't a priority. You guys.
Gambling wasn't a priority yet, and I wasn't really into it yet. So
I'm like thinking with like my 30-year-old brain, like, were you able?
Yeah. No, basically, it was like I want to play Third Strike and drink beer and like find bitches. You know what I mean? It was just like that, like But
collect the cards that.
Yeah, but yeah, that's just pretty much how I got into the competitive scene. Was
that seems like a good first Evo, dude. MLG, what hotel? What do you remember? Like where that was? Like,
it was either Green Valley Ranch or Red Rock, one of those. Because the first 3 or 2 weren't on the strip yet. They were like at these resorts that were like maybe like a 5-10 minute drive away from the resorts or from the strip. But it was very nice, man. I was like, this is amazing. You know what I mean? Like, this is the first time I'm in Vegas by my, like when people like, oh, I'm going to Vegas to gamble and drink, but no, you're going to Vegas to like play video games, like for people all over the world. Yes, it's like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And then not even that, just seeing these players that like Lagade and other like or people like, that's Justin Wong, that's Ricky Ortiz, that's you know what I mean? Like, in the beginning, yeah, like as a kid, I'm not a kid, as like I guess as a teen or coming into like an adult, whatever. I was excited. I was like, I would say I would be fanboying on certain players. Most of the Japanese guys, I guess, I was like, oh, that's KSK. That guy's awesome. This and this. But then when you grow up, you're kind of like, all right, like really. But I mean, I still respect a lot of these players. But I just remember like, oh, that's awesome. Like these players it's kind of like they're like sports or athletes kind of. You know what I mean? Like you're into this thing. Like if you like baseball and you see like Tony Gwynn, rest in peace, you're like, oh shit, I want a picture with this guy. Yeah. So if you're really into a fighting game and you see Daigo, you're like, damn, that's Daigo. You know what I mean? But then I guess
I had a racist coworker who said I looked like Tony Gwynn. Like when I was shoving in his face. But, sorry, continue.
No, but I was saying, but like now I don't know if it's because I've seen a lot behind the scenes and I'm just been with the scene so long, and now like stuff like that's like, yeah, whatever. Like I kind of know these people now, and it's just like, yeah, whatever. But for sure though,
that's won't pretty badass, dude. Like you went from the forums to like seeing these people like
I was
online,
like these people that I don't like, not idolize, like dude, like I love like this guy, like I guess Bronson, like when I was playing Tekken, like he was one of my heroes, man. And then I got to meet him and I became friends with him, like at a very like during 5, and he knew. I mean, man, like there's so many stories, you know what I mean? There's so much I've seen and been through, but like I was part of a group called San Diego Tekken back in the day when it was like it really meant something to be in that group.
How'd you hear about the group and become part of it?
Just so Alex, man, he went to my high school. I think I'm like a year or 2 older than him, so I always knew about him. And
I didn't know that. I didn't know that Alex. Did Mark Man also go to the same high school at some point?
Yeah, they all live in my neighborhood. They literally, I'm not gonna say where they live, but I can walk to their houses. You know what I mean?
That's crazy. I didn't know that. Damn.
Like I would say that I'm comfortable to say that like I'm friends with Mark. Not like in like, oh, I know the guy. Like no, I've been to his house. I've been to like his daughter's birthday. You know what I mean? Like I know his mom and stuff like that. Like I'm good friends with them.
Cool.
But no, like so in the beginning before that was that I knew his brother, and then I didn't really know anything about any of the members. And then Lagade knew them all. Lagade is like, this is like Ace, R. Dot, which was like the #1 Nina player. This is, all these people, and this is Mark. He's like the leader. And then Ogre, like all those Jays. I mean, there's a lot of players, man. And then I just found out through Chris, and then you know, you go to the arcade and you notice like, oh, these are all the people. Like I tilt like these people, and then you know they're going to all these like different tournaments that are located like hosted in San Diego. And I was interested in it, and I showed interest because I kind of knew some of the people. And then how they did it was like, oh, I heard it was pretty cool, man. They're like, oh, I heard you're interested. Like, okay, so we went to an arcade or like his garage, Markman's garage or something. It was something. It was a gathering of like a Tekken 5 gathering. And then they're like, oh, I heard you're interested. And it was like kind of gauntlet. Like we want to see what you got because they were kind of like we're like it was like a serious thing, kind of like we were like it was one of those like
to a gang or something.
Yeah, no, it was. So it was me. If you guys know Don Aos, Don and his brother J Flow, not small J Flow but big J Flow. And we all kind of like got in at the same time. And then that's when like we really found out like, damn, like, you know, took a deeper dive into the competitive scene and arcade and got to know the SoCal people because, you know, they all knew them through the Tekken 4. Because, you know, like Tekken 5 is my first competitive Tekken game, but they were playing since fucking 3. And you know what I mean? So, you know, oh, there's just like an arcade called Super Arcade. There's this place. And yeah, it just got crazier and crazier. And I don't know, man. Like there's so much like I can talk about, and like it's one of those like I would never trade it in like for anything in the world, man, because those were like so like it was just so much like goodness and like awesomeness and good people and just too many good memories I wouldn't trade in. Like, and I would do it all over again when it deals, you know, like there's so many times where like I was like going to Southwestern College and I had like a Sunday class or a Saturday class and I said, fuck this, I'm going to the Super Arcade tournament, you know what I mean? And I just dropped out that whole course just to like go to these tournaments on Saturday. I mean, it was just one of those, man. I mean, I'm not saying you should all do that, you know, like school's always gonna be there, but you should. It was just, I was just that into it, you know what I mean? Like I was just like, I was just grinding out every day, man, and like it was just.
Dude, that's the best part about like finding. I mean, I'm sure there's like a lot of people can relate to this in like other ways where you find like a community or a scene or something, and you want to just be somebody in it or something like that, and you're just kind of like so just very, it's like an exciting feeling. It's just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Who are you talking about? It's like, man, dude, I wish I was there. That's
Well, like we said, we got lucky too because we knew the right people, and it's just like, you know, I knew like we hanged out with Markman, so we instantly, you know what I mean, like he knew all the SoCal heads, and I got to meet all these like awesome players and just like international players and just all this crazy shit, man. You know what I mean? And like it was just.
Yeah, like out of all the people you bumped into, you know, you got Markman, so you got lucky.
And then, especially through the Tekken world, man. And then I've seen so many cool things, man. And he's hooked it. He's done a lot for TTF also. I mean, like back in the days when he was still at Mad Cats too. So I mean, I'm like also like forever grateful for that guy too, man. He like always supported, you know, SD and TTF and everything too, man. But yeah,
you know, you want to hear something fucked up?
What did you do?
Nothing. I didn't do anything bad. But like I wasn't in the loop on Markman when he wasn't feeling well, I guess 3 weeks ago or something like that. And like, I guess in the middle of that, I was like, hey bro, can you come on the podcast today or some shit? And I think he was sick that day.
Yeah. No, I got you.
Yeah. But, then he didn't respond. And I read like my timeline of
and you're just like, oh, yeah.
He's probably pissed. He's like, what is wrong with this guy? Like,
I'm this idiot.
He just lost an episode, dude.
Yeah, just said just started following a minute ago. Like, oh, I didn't.
Yeah. I'm gonna have you walk over to his house after.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
In the rain, dude.
Yeah. But dude, that's badass. And then so you grew up in like San Diego pretty much your whole life, right?
Yeah, I was pretty much born and raised here, and the house that TTF is at is I never left his house. That's pretty much born and raised in SD.
That's pretty amazing, dude. I've lived in so many different places. That's like such a cool thing. Like you don't hear a lot of people say that just to stay in one place forever, or not forever, but for that long. It's really cool, actually. So, dude, so like, can you tell me about like OG Comic Cons and shit like that? Like, was that anything for you like growing up? Because I remember one time I went to TTF. You told me about the old. I remember you were talking to other people. You probably didn't even know who I was at this point, but like you used to talk about the old Comic Cons. You just get dropped off in front.
Oh man,
I mean, fascinating.
It's so sad. Like I don't want to be like that guy, but I have to because you know you grew up with it. Was just that just those summer days or. You know, in like, I think whenever junior high or high school, those summers, my mom would just drop me, Dre, and our other friend Mike off in front of the convention center, and we would just get in line without a problem. Like there wasn't even a line yet. You just walk in, you can fill out the application, you know, the kid's badge, whatever, and that's it, bro. And it it was good times, man. You get like a 4-day badge for like $80. You know what I mean? Just like it was cheap but it was still cool, man. It was like it was still a big event. It still had everything that I liked and everything. So I don't know. I can't explain it because
it was all real nerds.
It was all real. I want to say it was all real nerds, but it was just like there was no like media stuff yet. You know, like Marvel and the movie stuff. I guess the movie stuff like that wasn't in effect yet. It was all just like real nerd shit, like interviews with comic book people, just artist alleyway, like took up half the convention. People actually selling comics, toys, figures, anime. You know what I mean? All this cool nerdy stuff. But then I don't know when it happened, but another cool thing.
I heard that they premiered Scott Pilgrim. It's probably around that time, right?
Maybe I don't know.
Fucking sold out.
And it's funny too because my mom's husband always says it too. So he'll say the thing. He's I remember Comic-Con when it was just only half the convention center and it was only like comics and art. And I was like, that's cool, man. Like it was one of those things. But I don't remember when it started. But I also am forever grateful for Mark because for the longest time, we were running a gaming room at Comic-Con. So we would have Mark, like he knew people basically, and this was even before my time, like during Tekken 4. I don't know how long that ago
was.
Wait,
so he had the Comic-Con room back
then? He had a room back then, and then so back then until whenever it stopped, basically, and then when I got into that group, during whenever like 05, 06 to whenever it was stopped, I was getting into Comic-Con for like
I think it was like 2016. It was like probably or some shit.
I mean, obviously we're helping and setting up, and like I was giving them all my setups and all that shit. But I mean, just it was cool, man, because I in the end I wasn't going to Comic-Con for Comic-Con. I was going to Comic-Con to see these people I haven't seen in so long and play Tekken and just like it was like a once a year a get together. You know what I mean? Yeah. We'd literally just walk the floor once and then we'd just hang out for hours and days in like the gaming room and just like do tournaments and have stuff for people and shit. But yeah, Comic-Con is a different beast now, and I'm like sad for what it is now or what it's become.
It like fucks up traffic in all of San Diego for like
it does. But I mean, I think like some of the cool things that came out of it is like the TTFs during Comic-Con. You get some cool out of towner people that come to the house and playing shit. But besides that,
J-Ram Down Under edition.
Yeah. That guy's so cool, man. But yeah. I mean, Comic-Con was cool. Yeah, Comic-Con's just a whole different piece now.
Yeah, I don't want to dwell on that, but so okay, you were talking about joining SDT and shit like that, and so did you have to like show off your your Ganryu and shit like that for that, or?
I wasn't using Ganryu in the beginning. I was using Paul. Paul was my first character.
Okay.
I ever used. So I had to like show out. I had to do Paul stuff and So
were you training with Lagade at that point? And
I was playing with everyone. Everyone was playing. Me, Lagade, like our group of friends were Crockett. I mean, we were all playing Tekken. We had like the original before TTF. I like to say we had a group called SH, which is Swisher House. And that consists of like me, Dre, Crockett, Lagade, and our friend Oliver. And we all played fighting games and stuff. I mean, and we knew Don and Jay. They were like kind of like the rivals back in the day at the arcade days. But we became friends. But we all played. And
did Don play Jack back then?
No, Don was a Paul player. Don was a
that's right. Yeah,
he was a Paul player. But no, like I think, but our upper hand was always Lagade. It was like our training, you know what I mean? He was like our training buddy, and that was like a really good training buddy to have. And I mean, back in the day, also was like people probably don't know this, but Dre was actually pretty good in Tekken 5 and Third. He played fighting games a lot back in the day too, but he just stopped playing. I guess I don't know what happened. But he was like pretty good in Tekken 5 and Marvel 3. He was really good. But yeah, I mean, we're just lucky to have like that. And then my mom never really cared who was at the house, so we would always have like these late night sessions at the house, and we would just go to like Denny's 3 a.m. like every fucking day and shit and fuck around. But I was a Paul player in the beginning, and I mean, I think it was one of those like, they just wanted to see where you were at and see like if you were really about it and shit. But yeah.
Did you only practice at the arcade then, or did you have a console?
No, I think Tekken 5 was already out on the PS2, so we already I mean, if you didn't get the special edition, you were an idiot, dude. Like you pretty much
got the stick, right?
It was $100, and the game was like $50, and the stick was technically $50, and that stick was probably worth more than that. And that was probably one of the best sticks like
that
ever
stick
made.
is surprising because like I'd walk by it a million times at your place. He was like on
Yeah.
the couch, like balancing or some shit, and
Yeah.
like I'd seen it a million times. And one day I like picked it up, I was like, oh shit, this shit's actually sturdy.
Yeah,
and
there's still one
feeling.
Lagade's old one. It's like kind of hollowed out, but I mean we saw the pieces for it. But yeah, that stick was really really good, man. But I wasn't always a stick player. I used pad in the beginning too. So just for Tekken though, for Tekken at Third Strike, I had to buy like a stick, or I just borrowed one from Chris, and then I finally bought one like off Amazon, like a Hori off Amazon, which was really cool. But yeah.
So this is like kind of before like those dark age times, right? Or what? Like what? I'm trying to think like what. I kind of know that the TTF anniversary is like what, like 17 or 16,
like
right?
15 or 16, yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So if I do the math, like this is a little bit before TTF. Like what happened before TTF? Where it's like, were you going to Golden Token Arcade at this point, or what?
Oh no! Well, yeah, every Wednesday. I'm still a senior at this point. So when my first Evo, I don't think Tekken 5 was out yet. I think it was still 4, and they're showcasing 5. Because I was only playing Third Strike. I wasn't really interested in Tekken yet. Yeah. So every Wednesday we'd be at Golden Token, and it was a school night. Yeah, again, Lagade, he already had his license, so he'd always just pick me up. And even though it was a school night, my mom just said, get home before like 1 or just time, and just yeah. So we would always be at Golden Token, and Wednesdays, that's when I think everyone kind of met up. There's like a couple. There's like certain days people always meet up. Wednesday was one of the big ones, and I think Friday or Saturday were one of the big ones. But Wednesdays, yeah. Third Strike wasn't that popular, but the crazy thing about Third Strike there was that if you know who Victor Lee and 5 Star are, they were going to school down in San Diego, and they would be at that arcade playing that. So if you don't know who Victor Lee is, he's an LA player that qualified for SBO back in the day, a Dudley player, and 5 Star is like a player who's still playing. That's probably also one of the best players right now, but they would always be there, and they're pretty much I was their punching bag, and I would always play. Those were the 2 guys I was playing, and but on the other hand, there was CVS2 and Marvel 2. And then Gene, I remember Gene being there. He was a kid, but he was still taller than all of us. Clockwork, just a lot of Jay, Viscal, just a lot of players. Tong once in a while. But there were but I didn't know who they were yet, and they didn't know who I was basically, or obviously. But yeah, it was always popping there. And then Tilt was the arcade at the mall by my house, and Friday nights that would be like the nights we just usually just mostly fuck around, but Tekken came out, and then play Marvel and all that shit, and yeah, there's just a lot going on, man.
Damn, dude, Golden Token sounds badass. Like
it was a really cool arcade. It was a small little arcade. It's funny and sad at the same time, because when I used to work at the school, the last school I worked at was up the street from Golden Token. So every time I would drive to the gas station or the 7-Eleven, I would always just I would always see it because it was right there. So I would take pictures once in a while, or just kind of get like hang out in the parking lot for a couple minutes before I go to work and shit. But no, it was an experience, man. Like you always talk about how you didn't get to experience the arcade, era, I guess. And every time people say that, I'm really sad, because I can't tell you how many nights I spent at Arcade Infinity, Super Arcade, like the OG Super Arcade, FFA, just all these different arcades, and it was just like some of the like best times of my life. I had over there. There would be days when Street Fighter 4 first came out and Arcade Infinity had it. There would be days where I just had a bad day at work, and it would be a weekday, and I would have work the next day like at 5 or 6. But I would literally just drive a 2-hour drive to AI in LA to hang out and play Street Fighter 4, then drive back home and sleep in the parking lot of my work, and to you know what I mean, and just so I can play that game and hang out with those people, man, at the arcade. That arcade setup was so like, arcade setups are just so sick, man. Like, I don't know. It really hurts talking about it, because they're like, I don't want to say, oh, they're gonna come. I think it's like a dying, if not dead, a dying era, man. And it's like, I'm really sad when a lot of these new
even in Japan,
players,
dude, like after COVID, like trying to plan a Japan trip, it's like, dude, half of them are fucking closed.
we had one planned right before the pandemic, didn't we? And
then
fucking everything goes on lockdown, dude.
So I really do feel, and it really does make me sad when people, a lot of the young players, at least at the house or anywhere, always mention that they didn't get to live through that, and it's just it's a really sad, like a really sad thing.
Yeah, and I know we kind of like previewed talking about TTF, but when people talk about arcade stuff, and I know it's not like to you guys, you probably laugh in our face when we say this shit. It seems like the closest thing you could ever get to an arcade is like TTF and shit like that.
I 100% agree with you, because that was 100% the feeling I wanted to bring to TTF. I didn't want it to be any esports or no, well, this is before esports. I just wanted an arcade feeling. Like you can go to the house. We used to do 1 games only. I just wanted to feel like it was just like an arcade. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Nothing.
just wander around watching people play shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so fun, but okay. Before we get to that, we'll get to TTF. But so when did you get your own car? I'm actually curious. I always like hearing when people got their own car.
Fuck, dude. It took me. I'm not gonna lie when I say I went to Budget. You guys know what Budget is?
Yeah, it still exists.
It's like okay. So it's basically like a driving school, and then like
wait, Budget. So Budget's also a car rental place. You're talking about
no. So Budget. I don't know if it was like the ghetto way to say. I don't know what it was, but it was like a driving school basically. And then if you took Budget, it was kind of a shortcut. All you had to do was take like the written test. You didn't have to like.
So you're 18. You're above.
Yeah. So I mean, I did. Well, I also didn't have to drive because I had Lagade and you know what I mean. Like I had ways. The bus. The bus stop down the street from my house took me to the mall.
Right. I always see that cement bench. I'm like, who the fuck?
Yeah. So I had a lot of memories of that too. Taking the bus to buy like Final Fantasy X and all. You know what I mean. But walking to the mall and shit. Walking home because I got yelled at. But anyway, no.
Dude, you want to hear? It's funny. Sorry, I don't want to interrupt you.
No. You're good.
I'm acting like Rico here, but fucking.
I got all the time.
So I remember when we bought a PS2 and Final Fantasy X the day it came out. It was like December 2001. Like my parents lived a simple life and never really bought like big things for us like that.
Yep.
I remember they went to the grocery store later on that day and bought like full 2 weeks of groceries and shit like that. And like the card got declined because they spent too much in one day. It was like a PS. So like we had this. So I wasn't there. I was at home playing Final Fantasy X and with a PS2. Like, but like they, like my family, the rest of them didn't care about the PS2. They're there with like a full card. They had to call like my older sister. She had to come with money. But they got home. They're all pissed at me. I was like,
you're having like the time of your life. Dude.
I'm like, dude, I'm fucking like you hear the music, you know, the Otherworld music.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna sing it. I was about to sing it, but you know the metal, heavy metal at the beginning.
Another world awaits. Yeah.
And Oron, I was like in a different world, but they were like yelling at me and shit. And they're like, I was like, well, you can't like turn off the PS2. This is brand new. Like you're gonna break it. So let's just talk about it. But okay. All right.
No, I remember, a funny story. I remember when Final Fantasy X first came out, and that whole intro, like the whole Blitzball scene. I remember my mom saying, "That looks real. Is this real?" You know what I mean?
It was mind melting.
Yeah, it was mind melting. Yeah, and then there's a lot of funny moments. I remember when Resident Evil 4 came out, and then like my mom's like boyfriend at the time, now husband, he was like, these games are the reason why like kids shoot up schools. I'm just like, yeah, totally, man. Zombies, like this is the reason why we're here. You know what I mean? It was all those moments. Like my parents were one of those parents that they would like get mad when they're like, oh, you need an adult to buy this game, and like, I had to come in here just for this. You know what I mean? One of those like are you sure you want? It's like, just give him the goddamn game. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm forever grateful for that. You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, video games are
for sure. Yeah. So you said you were taking public transportation, budget school.
Yeah. So maybe 19 or 20. I mean, like I said, I was like, I didn't have a cell phone until I graduated because I didn't want one. Like my mom, the only reason I got a phone, and it was a flip phone, is because my mom was like, just you need this because I need to make sure where you're at because you're out a lot. You know what I mean? I never needed a phone because everyone knew where the house was. Like all the kids, all my friends, like everyone knew who like my mom, like my house was the spot. I guess you could say my house was always the spot to hang out. So our people, like I had AIM, like that was like I had a computer. So so we had AIM.
What was your AIM name?
So my first AIM name was Chocobo Rider. And it was like, and I had 3, but then the last one was I remember Chocobo Rider and Wave Master. I think that was from Dot Hack. It was a Dot Hack name.
Oh, that's a badass. That's the main character's name, right?
Yeah, I was something, and then my final one that I had the most was Cody Can't Ollie, and the O's the O's are zeros. That was because we would skate, and the joke was like you can't even Ollie, so I was like, this is my name.
I know you were just skating, dude.
Yeah, I was in the skating big time, man. Yeah, I was. If you look at older pictures, I'm also really skinny, and then I found out about gaming, and I got fat. So that's the lore, dude. But yeah, I was really into skating, man. I loved it, man. I wasn't good at it, but I was all about it, man.
Who's your favorite skater?
Rodney Mullen, and because he was such a crazy skater.
I was an alien.
Yeah, Chad Muska, I enjoyed a lot, and then
you're naming all like Tony Hawk 1 and 2 guys.
Well, I mean, also during that time, that's when that game like first came out too, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
I feel like those are cop out answers. I don't know. I'm being a bitch.
Well, they're also
you
like
name someone I don't know.
Well,
I mean, those are the ones that got me, like,
Those are
got
all-
most people into.
It's like
No,
all the
most
best
average-
skaters. Basically, you can't name the best skaters.
if all the best skaters, those were all the best skaters at the time.
I'm being a bitch. Is what I'm
They
saying.
were the ones sponsored, and like so everyone else, like, who are you? You know what I mean? It was one of those things. You know what I mean? But
I like the Kareem Campbell. I don't think he was in any of those games.
he was in Tony Hawk.
Yeah, I know.
No, he was in Kareem Campbell. He was in part 1.
Yeah,
He was also in 4.
He was only like part 1. Dude, come on, man. He had the ghetto bird. I didn't know what a ghetto bird was, dude. It was a police helicopter. That was so sick, dude.
Yeah.
But what the fuck were we talking about?
You were saying,
Oh, my car. You're talking about
skating.
how does it go into my car, dude? Yeah.
Oh yeah, your house is always the spot. And
Yeah,
then, like,
so
you
I
didn't
never
need
needed a
cell
car,
phone.
never needed a phone, blah blah blah. But you know, I finally got a car. It took me like Dre passed the test first try. It took me like 2 times, but I was lucky enough to my grandma straight up bought a car for my mom,
Oh my god.
and it was one of those like when you pass, this is your car, and then my grandma was a baller. I'm just gonna say it. My grandma was she was a baller, and it was one of those like we don't want to ask her for money, but she was just always throwing it.
She was. I've seen pictures of her like recently.
Yeah, but yeah, my grandma bought us my
Oh
first
wait,
car.
hold on, wait. Is it the same grandma I've seen or no?
It might have been if I'm posting pictures currently.
Yeah.
she's the only one left alive, man. But,
Okay. Well, sorry.
yeah.
I didn't ask like that, but I just
No, you're good. No, but no, I'm not trying to get into like the personal stories about all this shit. But no, it's just that she bought my first straight up, just bought the car, so I didn't have to worry about car payments or anything. No, you just totally reminded me. That wasn't my first car. My first car was a man, and now I miss it. Was an Astro van. Do you remember the Astro vans? Those huge ass. We had an Astro. It was the family van, and then so when I passed, I got to drive that car, and then that I didn't have the Lancer for a while, but that was my first car, and I would take that bad boy to Super Arcade to LA. To me and Crockett would go to Mission Valley to play Tekken 5 DR. So that was my first car. And that thing was fucking dangerous. That thing was scary to drive, dude. And
the van or the Lancer?
the van, no, because I would know the van. No, it was just I would just haul. I was a bad driver, man. I would haul ass, bro, and I would almost tip that. You know what I mean? Like I used to. So
They're so oddly shaped. They're so oddly shaped.
So I basically right after Evo or whatever, when I got back, I got a job right away. I've been working pretty much all my life. Like right after high school, I started working. My first job was GameStop. So that man, I hate that job. But I was always driving. But when I got that Lancer, so you know what? Even with the van, I never had to worry about car payments, man. Like it was insane. Until maybe like 6 years ago when I had to get a new car, and I was like, dude, this sucks, man. If I knew what I knew now, I would never I would take better care of my car. But I remember being stoked getting a car because I was like, I can go to these tournaments now that they post on. I can drive like 3 hours to play at like a Street Fighter 4 tournament in like the Valley. You know what I mean? And I did. I went to like almost every fucking tournament. I took like K6. I took Dre. You know what I mean? We Lagade would always say, "Hey, do you want to go to this tournament in LA?" I remember we went to like a Tekken 6 major at Super. We stayed at his dad's house. I was just Evo. Drove to like every Evo. I was stoked because I was like, I can drive to these tournaments now. So
that reminds me of Quinto, dude. He used to do the same thing when I first met him. He used to drive a van up to WNF every
Yeah.
Sounds a lot like that. Yeah.
That's badass. All right, so I'm kind of curious. So like, basically, were you going to like what was your experience in tournaments at this point? Because like, it's your first kind of couple years competing and stuff like that, and most people, it's like either goes really poorly for them, and they're a pop monster, or they're someone who's hey, I'm top 3, and I just started kind of shit.
I think I was a pop monster. I think I am a pop monster. I wasn't bad, but I wasn't good. So I wasn't really going. I mean, the first couple of tournaments 0-2, but a couple was like 2-2. Like 3-2, you know what I mean? Like, damn, you're like 2 or 1 away from top 8.
I think pop monster means you have to go 0-2 the whole time.
Yeah. Well, I haven't really. So yeah. So I guess I wasn't never really a pop monster. But like I said, I wasn't bad and I wasn't good. I would get some top 3s there and there once in a while. I would get some like top 8s, 9s, but I would never go 0-2. And it's been a while. And every time I did go 0-2, it would really hurt because like, damn, I don't remember the last time I went 0-2. But I don't know. It's like a whole like evolution of like my like fighting game career, or if I even call it a career, I guess. But I don't know. I feel like I never thought I was good. I always just thought I was all right. But I would like beat these players, or like, you know what I mean, or like go head to head with some of these guys, but I just always thought there was like something missing. Like I remember the first time I beat Chet Chetty at one of the electric, it was like a small electric cancel. It was like 4.1 or something. UC at like Irvine. I beat him. Everyone was like, damn, and I was just kind of like, oh shit, you know what I mean? Like, and then I also like a lot of team tournaments that we ever did well in it. I always felt like I got carried because I remember there was like a team tournament for Tekken 5 or I think it was DR. It was me, Crockett, and Lagade, and we got second, and we beat the SBO team. We beat Kane, Chet, and I think it was NYK, but it was the guy that Lagade beat all. Oh, Lagade OC beat him. we got second. We lost to Tekken Tim, Ricky, and who the hell was the other guy? I don't know if you guys know who Lancaster. Oh, Justin James. So I don't know if you know who Lancaster Ricky is. I think he was one of the best. He was better than Tekken Tim probably. He was a Fang player back in the day, and he was legit he fucked us all up. I think I beat Tim or like Lagade beat Tim, and then we just lost to Lancaster Ricky. And if you guys know who that is,
cancel? Was this an electric cancel?
No, this was just a regular 3v3 at Super Arcade, the old Super Arcade before, like way before Watson. So
on cabinet.
Yeah, it was on cabinet. Yeah.
Damn, that's fucking sick, dude. Like, damn, like that's like. I mean, obviously Lagade didn't work, but that's like no joke. Just like,
Lagade, like I said, I was like he would beat a lot of these players, man. Like I've seen him beat Kane. Like he got top 8 at Evo West at like one of the Evo West, and like if you guys remember what Evo West is, he got top 8 at a couple of those.
I never knew to do that. Like I've met him a couple of times, and he's never really said anything that hinted that he used to be the shit, you know, at Tekken.
Yeah, like what the fuck is he just like someone who's a choker or what?
I met him as just like a Nina player, and that was it. That used to play a lot,
but I mean, he was always on TZ. He was always on SRK. Everyone knew him, dude. Everyone, if you mention like to the OG players like Rickster, Rip, and all of them, they know who Chris is, man. Because like I said, he lived in LA and he would play with them all the time. He would play with Filthy Rich. Like Filthy Rich was his home dude. Filthy Rich was that guy was super nice to us too, man. Like he would always play with him, and that guy, I'm pretty sure you heard the stories from other people talking about. He was just a welcoming person, man. Yeah, I feel like he was a good training partner
everywhere. And like, how the fuck is that guy know everyone? And
I remember
all over the world,
dude. I remember
Rich is like Forrest Gump, dude.
I remember it was NEC. I forgot what NEC it was, but Tekken Tag 2 was still there, and I went there with Pimpbot. But I was there to play Street Fighter 4, and it was like there was a Tekken tournament, and they were doing a Tekken Tag 2v2. I wasn't really playing it, but I knew a little bit. I was so bad at Tekken Tag 2, but he's like, "Hey, do you want to team up?" And I was like, in my head, I was like, "Dude, there were like better players asking him to team up," and he's like, "If I want to team up with someone, I want to team up with a homie." And I was like, "Holy shit!" You know what I mean? It was like, and that meant so much. Like I didn't do shit in that tournament, but you know what I mean. But the fact that he just wanted to play with me and have fun, I was like he could have teamed up with like. You know, you know what I mean? Like someone, like he could have won the tournament.
He was there to have fun, not specifically to win, but maybe.
Yeah. He just wanted to have fun and hang out with the homie. You know what I mean? Yeah. I was like, and I respect him for that much. He's been to like a couple. He's been to TTF. Like he's been to a PHS. You know, he's a lot like that's why I have a lot of love for the SoCal Tekken scene and like the early Street Fighter 4 LA scene, because they would like travel to TTF a lot back in the day, like in like big numbers. But
Did you ever go to the Evo after 2005?
Oh, I went to. There's only one Evo I missed out on, or maybe I missed out on two. I missed out on one early Evo. No, I've been to all the beginning ones, and I maybe missed out on the Evo where they announced Street Fighter 5. But then I probably missed out on 2 or 1, and then it was one of those like never again. But it was just shitty reasons why I missed out on those ones.
So you're around for like those regional ones, like the San Diego regional one.
Yeah, I was all. I went to the Evo West, the regionals. Yeah, I've been to all those.
Didn't you house people for that one?
Yeah, for that one, I housed Rickster, Yi Machine. I feel like I'm missing. I want to say Eris. Oh, Bronson. I'm sorry, Bronson, Rickster, and Yi Machine. I want to say Eris also and Rip, because I remember them there, but I'm pretty sure they just met up at my house. But no, I for sure though, Rickster, Yi Machine, and Bronson I housed for that. And then I housed other players too. You know what I mean?
How does that happen? Are you just on TZ like saying come through or something?
Oh no, well I'm already friends with these guys because I always I travel up to their tournaments and I got to know them. And then they're just like, hey, we're going down here. Can anyone hook it up? And I said, fuck it, dude. Like you're more than welcome to crash at my pad. Because during that time, my mom was at the house, but on the weekend she would go to her which is her husband now, but she would basically on the weekends spend time with her husband at his house, and then just leave the house to me and my sisters on the weekend. So that's where I pretty much, I guess that's also a leeway to like why the house was a party house and like basically became TTF in the end.
Damn, it's like a perfect storm. Just like yeah, latchkey, like or not really. That's kind of too old to be a latchkey kid.
Oh no, I mean
No,
my mom was
no.
always very protective, and she was one of the if you're gonna do it, I'd rather have you do it at the house and out there, you know what I mean, type of people.
Right.
But yeah.
Those are the coolest parents, dude.
Yeah, it has its pros and cons, but they are.
Yeah, I was gonna say like I've heard but like my parents are so strict, dude. If I was anywhere outside the house, like after like 10, oh my god, dude.
I think it was just like I don't want to get into like my personal family wise, but it was just like my mom and dad had different like parenting, you know what I mean? Like my dad was like kind of the more strict one and was like, you got to be home here. But the sad thing is like, when my parents split, it was like we were with my mom, you know what I mean? So it was just like my mom's rules and she was pretty much the more open one. And it's just, you know what I mean? It's how it is. But, I love them both and, they're the best parents I can ever have. They support. There's a reason why they're called TTF mom and dad because, if it wasn't for them, they support everything I've done and did, and it's because of them basically too. So I mean, yeah.
So where was that Evo regional thing held at?
It was so it was at Comic-Con and it was at the Omni Hotel. If you guys know what the Omni is.
Yeah, isn't that like a fucking nightclub now?
No, I mean, I think across the street. I mean, I'm pretty sure they have a club there, but across the street is like Longitude or Altitude. I don't know which one's over there, but it's literally like right across the street from the convention center in the Petco.
Damn,
it was cool though.
That's like prime location, dude. Like,
yeah, everyone.
There's like a tournament, and that's like,
dude, it was awesome.
Like, I don't know,
because everyone was there. I mean, all the SoCal. If you're from SoCal, like everyone was there. I mean, it was a big tournament, man, and it was awesome, and it was like free to walk in too, man. Like you didn't have to have like a Comic-Con badge at all. You can just walk in.
Damn. Is there anything you remember about that year in the Evo, like that in the Evo, like after?
Yeah, I remember a lot. I remember I got my ass kicked in Third Strike and Tekken 5. I just remember one of the big things I remember. Oh, there's a lot of them actually. Top 8 was really good for Tekken. I'm pretty sure you heard the story too. It's the Arario and Bronson story. I was there for that. I was by Jaha. You can hear me in that video. Also, you can hear Don in that video. We're all yelling and having a good time. The Super Noodles guy, or the Debug. We're all back there. But one thing I remember, I think I beat someone, and it was just I forgot who I beat. It was like some guy who thought he was big, and everyone was just talking shit about him. Those are always the good feelings. But if you guys know who there was a CVS 2 match. This is my most notable thing because it's always funny. So there's a CVS 2 match. If you guys know who Mad Drifter is, he's a San Diego player, and he's the guy that on your podcast with Gene, he talks about the guy that he beats in the money match at his house.
Oh yeah,
he's talking about this guy, by the way. And I never had nothing against him because I'm always kind of the neutral guy. You know what I mean? But I couldn't see it. You know what I mean? I know why people don't like him, but it's just whatever to me. You know what I mean? But so he's playing CVS 2 and he's playing Mike Watson. And, Mike Watson's good at the game too. So I'm hearing this news that Mad Drifter beat him. And I was like, oh shit, really? So I'm like, oh, good shit, man. He's like, yeah, I beat him, blah, blah. And then when I walk away, they're like, I beat him, right? He pressed pause and took the game. And I was like, what the And then and that was so funny because like Mike Watson was so mad. But yeah, that's like
would you ever do that?
Would I ever do that? Honestly, no. But if I was like, okay, I'm gonna say no.
What if it's to get out of pools and it's like a guy who's not whooping? It's like he's pretty much
okay.
Like,
so hear me out. If it's someone that I know and it's one of those like this is play. Like if it's like
completely random.
If it's a random, yeah, fuck that. I've done it to randoms. But if it's like a TTF head, and I've done it where it's just like Chad press pause and like I end up losing. I was up 2 games and lose. But it's just whatever. But if it's like a random, or if it was like a bigger stake tournament, you know what I mean? If it was like a major,
I was gonna mention that.
If it's a TTF tournament, I'm not gonna care. For me, at least, you know what I mean? But if you
care, Evo get out of pools.
Oh no, yeah, for sure, 100%. And I think TOs should enforce that rule 100% because then that leads to arguments and like just situations like that. Well, he let me do this. Well, if you should have a rule where it's like if you press pause, that is a rule. Whoever presses pause should take the game. Because you don't want to lead in a situation like that.
Or whatever the players want to decide.
Yeah, no, exactly. Because then you just you're holding up your tournament, and that's when arguments and fights start like that. So if you're just a TO, I always say that too. If you're gonna say, if you're gonna make a rule, you should just 100%. Whoever paused it is just like they're down a game, or if they're
there's so many people that would want to do it, but they just don't want to, say it or admit it.
I understand.
They should take it out of the
like,
players' hands. They should take it out of the players'
hands. 100%. But I understand. Like, it's top 8. Let them play. And it's like sometimes like that's like a Karate Kid type movie situation. You know what I mean? But it's just like sometimes like bro, like rules are rules, man, and I can't. Because if I say no to you, and then like it happens to some guy, he's like, "Hey, why do you let him play?" But not, you know what I mean? Like it just. So if you're a TO, you have to stick to your rules, man.
Yeah. The only time that shit sucks, in my opinion, is when it's like a controller disconnect or something like that.
Yeah,
but,
I mean,
but you pressing the start button, dude, that's like, that's just your fucking jitters that you press the start button, dude. That's on you. That's, But sorry, what the hell are we talking about, dude?
I don't even know.
You said that that's how he took the game from Mike Watson.
We're talking about you. Yeah. No, because you asked me if I ever housed anyone. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So that seems like a fucking badass story for him. I mean, he beat Mike Watson. I'd never tell anyone that the second part.
Yeah.
But okay. So at this point, were you even thinking about running your own tournaments?
No,
like that? Were you already doing it or no?
So I mean, I guess how it became TTF was just like it was having people over. Okay, so at this time, I guess I'm probably most likely working at the arcade now. If you guys know who.
How'd you get a job there? Were you just like, I love coming here?
No, so. Let me see here. So my first job was was GameStop, and then my second job. Okay, so first job was GameStop. Second job was the arcade. The reason why I quit my first job is because they wouldn't give me the time off for Evo 2006, either 06 or 07. So I said, "Fuck this, I'm quitting." And then I asked if you guys know who Gam is, Mr. Tilt. He's always at the house. He was the manager at that Tilt, and I said, "Hey, is there any way I can get a job here? After Evo?" And he said, "Yeah." So I basically was working at the mall, but even before working there, we were always at the mall playing like DDR, Tekken 5, Marvel, playing Magic, like every Friday. Basically, like the mall was TTF. Like everyone that like all the OGs, like the people that stay, like the OGs, I guess, were like they were probably at the mall. All the people that sit in like the stoner table, like So I got the job there, and then I was working there for a while, and then I would have tournaments there, man. I would have tournaments Friday nights, through the machine. Luckily enough, I had the key, so we just put it on a quarter or free play or the entry fee, and then we got to stay there and play after hours. Not that long, but Gam was cool with it. But then the tournaments that did run too long because it was only a cabinet, because we would get big numbers. We would finish the tournaments at my house or at another friend's house, and it happened multiple times, and it kind of became, that's how like TTF kind of became, was like there were just unfinished tournaments from the mall at my house, and then we would all just play casuals because Kane, Rickster, like they would come down to those tournaments and play once in a while, ripping all of them. So yeah, basically I guess how it would happen was that just unfinished tournaments at the mall when I was working we were just playing at my house, and then then they became like, oh, I want to have these tournaments also at my house. But then it's like luckily enough I had Saturdays off, so once a month or every other week or something, I would open my house for like casuals and tournaments. I had an old website, but yeah, we like the first PHS was like Third Strike, and it was very small, but I mean, yeah, I guess if I had to say how it all started, it was just like unfinished tournaments at the mall, like finishing up at my house and just like playing casuals and shit. Yeah. And then go ahead.
I'm assuming your house was like different layout at that time.
It was more of a house. Yeah, I mean, I'll find some old pictures and send them to you guys. I post them once in a while too. No, it was a house. Like, I remember like my sisters and my mom were still here. So yeah, it was a living room. It was believe it or not, like it was a house. So we had like maybe 3 setups on the in the front. So although I can't explain it right now, but yeah, there's couches, there's TVs. We'd move everything around a little bit, put like the CRTs on where the fireplace is, and a couple setups in the kitchen, and it was kind of crowded, but I mean it was people respected it and everything. But yeah, it was a normal house. It's not what it was now, where I mean, besides just the whole, but like it was just like pretty much everything's just dedicated to the setups. You know what I mean? Like the only rooms are just like like the rooms that we sleep in, but everything else is like literally dedicated to the TTF. You know what I mean?
That's a pretty cool family, because fucking when I bring guests over, like my family couldn't, you know what I mean, like be themselves or whatever, or so they thought, or that's maybe the impression that they had. So for me, it's always like not a pain in the ass. I could have one friend over, but if it was like more than that, it would just be like, oh man, this is too much. And now that I'm older, I'm thinking like when I had roommates and like they'd bring tons of guests over, it always pissed me off. And like I live by myself in this apartment, but like if I had like someone who was bringing people over, anyway, basically it's a cool trait to like not give a fuck if people come over. I
feel for that though. I mean, I think it's because when people are coming for TTF, I know why these people are coming over because they're coming. First of all, I know these people and they're coming over to play video games.
Yeah.
But then there would be times where my sisters would bring their friends over and I don't know who the people are and they're just underage kids, drinking, and I'm like, get the fuck out. You know what I mean? So I'm not liking it. And I had to have this conversation with my sisters of why these people can't be here. And the next thing you know, all my 360 games are gone, and Dre's about to kill someone. You know what I mean? Like, it's just one of those.
Yeah,
and it's
I was
like,
gonna ask about that. Like, did that shit ever happen?
There has never, besides Mitchell's Switch. Okay, so there has been items stolen at the house, and three of the big ones. Pretty much the one that killed TTF was Mitchell's Switch. Was like the last one. I've had in my PS3 stolen a long time ago during the 4 era. And all my 360 games, and I was like really into Black Ops 1 like competitively, and they stole it, and I was like had a meltdown. It was pretty bad, but but those, I would say those are probably the big three things that the span of like running TTF. I don't really count like the PS3 and my 360 games like a loss for TTF though, because like those are my things, and it was kind of like whatever. But when Mitchell's Switch got stolen, it's like someone came to my house with their stuff, trusting the house. That was something else. You know what I mean? That's what made me so mad. Was just like, I've had this house. Like, I don't care about my 360 games because I know who stole them. It was my sister's fucking friends. And the PS4, hey man, it's just like it is what it is, man. And it's mine, so it was mine. So I didn't. I cared, but it was like, whatever, man. I'll just buy another one. You know what I mean? But when Mitchell's shit got stolen, it's like, who the fuck? Like, and it was so sad. If you guys know the story, was that it was a dead night, man. Everyone there I knew except for like one guy.
Oh man, that's crazy. I thought it was like 100 people there.
No, it was a pretty dead night, and everyone was like, "It's this guy, it's this guy," and it was just it was a really sad thing. And then I honestly think like one of the worst case scenarios was I think someone just walked in thinking it was like a party, and then they just saw Mitchell's stuff like there because no one was
mentioning some guy that's never been like to TTF.
There were two people that's never been. I mean, it wasn't dead, but it wasn't. I mean, I could name every single person that was there. Basically, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't a big. There was no tournament. It was everyone's hanging out playing casuals. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I'm sure for you it's different. Like seeing that happen because you want everyone to feel comfortable at TTF. Yes, right? You don't want this to be the place that's like you might lose your shit.
But the sad thing is just that it's just. You always have to like you were just reminded that the scene is full of scumbags, and that's it's coming from me saying that too because I've done some things in my life during the scene days. You know what I mean? I'm not a perfect person. I'm a you know what I mean? Like it's just that I know it happens, but just running something at your house for 10 years and it never happening, like for it to happen is just the biggest kick in the face. And this it's just it was so sad. You know what I mean? And it made me so angry.
What would you do if it was discovered that it was J-Ram that did it, your roommate?
I don't know because it wasn't him, so I don't know what I would do.
The jury's still out of that, but okay. If you know, all right, now I'm joking. Okay. So you're bringing people over. Hold up, the spillage. So you arcade spillage, but like you'd have all the people who spill over go to your place, and I'm trying to think. Like, was there any like you just did this through like I guess the quote unquote like time where there's no new releases, right?
Well, I mean, it was during the time. Well, yeah, I guess. I mean, it was. I've been around for so long where I've seen there are maybe 2 or 3 times I thought of closing down TTF. The Dark Ages, as you said earlier. In the beginning, it was cool because Tekken 5 came out and everyone's just interested. And I think in the beginning, honestly, before 4 is when like the competitive TTF was happening. I was still doing tournaments and stuff, but it was more of like us hanging out, playing Third Strike and drinking beer. You know what I mean? But everyone's still, it's like you said, it was basically an art. I had like 5, there was 5 set up, but everyone's hanging out, drinking beer and playing fighting games. You know what I mean? And we would maybe have like a random free tournament. And then Street Fighter 4 came out and it was like, damn, dude, like everyone's really interested. Everyone's getting hyped. New Street Fighter, SRK is like getting bigger. I'm sorry, and also I would use TTF for training for Evo or tournaments. You know what I mean? Oh, Evo's coming up. Let's all play at my house like every day before Evo. But Street Fighter 4 came out, and I was like, you know what? Like, I wanna do something. I want to do tournaments for this. And then so we're doing tournaments, and then I don't know, man. It got crazy. It from like
more people just kept showing up, or what?
From
like what
maybe
was the change
from like 10. I don't
parties?
know. I think it was just SRK, just me putting myself out there more, advertising the house on other forums and everything. Because in the beginning it was like we would have like 10, 12 man tournaments, but they're all mostly homies and friends of friends. But then it became like the 60 or fucking 40 people in the back. You know what I mean? Like, who the fuck are half these people? But they're all here.
So were you putting this on SRK?
I was putting on SRK. I was putting on TZ. I was putting on whatever. I remember I even one of the PHS 3.1. I made Case Sexy made flyers, and we put them up at Southwestern and GameStops. That's how
really.
Wow.
That's so yeah. But then and it just blew up, man, because everyone was
did people show up based on those flyers?
Yeah, people would show up from those flyers.
Are there any flyer homies that are just still around, or no? Definitely
not. Well, you know what's funny? I don't think they're around, but I would once in a while there would be like some random ass tournament in San Diego for like something, and they would be there. I'm like, I remember this guy, and he remembers me. I was like, dude, you know what I mean? But I mean,
that's badass. So it kind of went from like, oh, okay, we're just homies chilling, doing like our own tournaments, and then like people just slowly just keep fucking showing up. Like, what do you remember being like the fucking biggest? Where you're like, what the fuck's going on? Was there a moment where you're like,
you know what? I want to say maybe it was just one of those where every day like someone would add a brick or a rock to the, you know what I mean? Like, so you don't really realize it's getting bigger and bigger. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Until it's just like, holy shit, dude, there's really 60 people or like 4 cars from LA coming down, or like just like everyone. Because if also you got to remember that no one used to be allowed in the house. It was always in the backyard. The house was cut off because I didn't want no one in there because it was still a living room. It was, you know what I mean?
Oh shit!
Oh, so everything was in the backyard?
Everything was in the backyard, and everyone came through the side gate. So if anyone was in the living room, it was like girlfriends or like the true homies waiting inside watching TV, playing Rock Band. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Slowly, I started opening the living room for people just to hang out and like no setups wise, just TV, and you know what I mean. But everyone, like I said, I'll try to find. But everything was mostly in the backyard. Like the setups were just, yeah, it was nuts, dude. Like everything was used in the backyard.
Yeah. And who were like the staples that were, you know, like did you ever set something up where you told people, hey, dude, can you help me run, TTF like every week? Because obviously you can't maintain 60 people under your own wing. I don't know, can you? You don't know what 60 people are doing in your house at once,
If you don't know, my sisters were kind of there. Then I had a lot of my friends were there, so like a lot of my good friends were there. So once in a while, if something bad happened. I mean, they never really did, but yeah, no, I had people watching. You know what I mean? Like people were there watching out, but mostly I think we're just at an era was just that everyone was carefree and everyone was literally there for Street Fighter. You know what I mean? Like no one, like there were like it was. I mean, there were some bad people there, but and you kind of knew, and people kind of watched out for each other. The people who were there for the fighting, like Street Fighter and everything, like once in a while, like, hey, this guy, I don't know what he's doing, and it's just like, all right, I'll keep an eye on him and stuff. But
has anyone ever said that about me? Like, what's that Kadar guy? I'm actually curious. No, damn.
Maybe to themselves, dude.
Yeah,
Kadar, dude.
What was your first impression of Street Fighter 4? I'm curious.
I thought
revolutionary to you, or you?
You gotta remember, like Third Strike came out when my first competitive Street Fighter was Third Strike, and I played Turbo a little bit, but my first competitive Street Fighter was Third Strike, and then this is like fucking a million years, and this new Street Fighter 4 comes out. I think everyone had the same feeling. It was like, what the hell is gonna happen, man? Like, who the hell is this fat guy? Who's this like luchador? Who, you know what I mean? There's like, why does it look like this? Like, why does it look so shitty? What's this? You know what I mean? It's just
you thought it looked shitty.
Yeah, I thought it looked shitty. Like, dude, like, but it was like a good shitty, if that makes sense. It just I don't know. I thought it was like I was stoked. I was excited. I was ready to learn something new. And yeah, I mean, that was like my first, like, and when it came out, everyone was playing it, man. It was insane.
All right, so secondly, you talk about PSH or PSH 3.1, but dude, what was PSH 1? Or so talk about what does that even stand for? Or sorry, PHS. My bad.
PHS is Paradise Hills Showdown, and if you guys don't know what Paradise Hills is my the neighborhood that I live in, and it was pretty much word on play from Texas Showdown, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna take their thing and call it Paradise Hills Showdown.
It's like your kind of like,
and it's pretty much
soft regional, right?
Yeah, it's like a mini. We call it like a mini major, like a TTF. It's like, I guess a San Diego mini major. And it's like it's an event that happens once a year at the house, and I used it. I always used it as an event. It's always in July, and it's supposed to always be in July, and it's supposed to always be a week before Evo. So it's pretty much a event to get people ready for Evo, and if they want to win money for Evo, they can win it there basically. So, and those tournaments,
that's such a genius idea, dude. Like, it's like a fucking Evo boot camp tournament,
basically.
Like, and there's like did it always have a raffle and it feel like a
the raffle didn't start happening until I don't know when, man. But I was just like, you know what? Let's have a raffle. Let's have more fun with it, basically. You know what I mean? And the scene just got bigger and bigger.
Fun parts about the whole tournament, just having that raffle
game,
like just crowd jumping near the kitchen, dude.
The esports basket, all the random items and shit, and all. Yeah, I mean,
as long as people don't fucking try hard it, because we all know. Remember what Black James did? We all know.
Oh yeah,
I don't know.
Like he bought like a million raffle tickets and then popped off when he won the stick. He's like, yes, yes. Remember that? I was in the kitchen sitting next to him, like, damn, people think I'm his brother or some shit.
You're just like, yeah, everyone here has like a minimum wage job, and like you're just like spending money on like your salary. It's like, yup. It's like, if I knew you were gonna do that, I would have sold you the stick, dude.
Yeah, that was like a very like chilling. And there's another funny memory.
Is that what people were doing?
Yeah, oh, that's what he did. That's not what everyone did. Everyone normal buys like maybe 3 tickets and then.
No, I heard a bunch of people booing at one of them. Is that what it was for? Because I couldn't really tell what was going on.
I don't know if you were there.
Maybe Richard won something and everyone's booing him or something. But
yeah, I wanted King of Fighters like art, and then I was like, I don't even want this, but here you go, Cody. Like,
I still have it. It's right there. I can see it in here, dude. But
worth millions now, dude.
But I'm not gonna deny. I'm not gonna make a raffle limit because it's like money to the house. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like he bought like 50 tickets he bought, for like a whole $20.
Yeah.
Damn, you should have just yelled somebody else's name, dude.
No,
I remember. Do you remember like the tiki torch thing, like in the news happened? And
yes, and then you just kept saying that there's tiki torches.
Yeah, and then you like held one up, and then you like had a little joke about it, and then James came up and had a whole like rant about it. And I remember like all the Asian people leaving the backyard because they were like uncomfortable. I remember like fucking Watts' older brother like beat like just running away because he was like, man, fuck those tiki torch people. This racist ass country founded on racism. Like he had a whole like Boondocks rant, right? And then fucking everyone cleared out of the backyard. They're like, holy shit, I'm so afraid of this rant. Like it was a crazy moment. But those are my 2 James memories. All right, sorry. But so how'd you even come up with a major? Or not even a major, but you were just like, let's have a big kickoff.
Like I said, like I was like, I'm watching all these tournaments. I always wanted a major in San Diego. And I still do want a major in San Diego, but I can only do so much. And I was like, the most I can do right now is have it at my house. So basically what it was just the whole idea of let's have it a week before Evo and let's just make this to get everyone together and just get ready for Evo, man, and just have a good time, make a big event after you. I mean, there was multiple games. I'm surprised Rip didn't tell his story about him beating me in Third Strike at one of the PHSs. You were telling a story about we had a Street Fighter the movie tournament at my house once. We just make a big day about it, man. But I mean, obviously we have the main games. So Street Fighter 4 and Tekken 5 were always the main games back in the day, and we'd have side events. We had 5v5s at the house after PHS. A lot of legendary stuff has happened during PHSs. But it's just something special. I feel like all the majors that I run, I like to think that I have 3 tournaments at TTF that I consider like majors to me, and those are all like I try really hard to make those as special as I can with like the help of Vince and a lot of people.
What's the other one? Emperor's Cup, PHS, and what's the third
PHS, one? Emperor's Cup, and the Big Kahuna are like the 3.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay,
yeah,
that's badass, dude. That's so fucking cool. So for Street Fighter 4, like, do you remember like that first PHS? Is there anything crazy that happened? Like any of those?
If you guys know, yeah, there's a lot that happened. It wasn't that big as in LA came down. It was a lot of SD heads, but there were 2 LA players that came down, and it was Bobino. If you guys know who Bobino is, and Filthy Rich. If you don't know who Bobino is, he is a Tekken 5 player from SoCal, and he's pretty much good at everything. He is a really good player, but he won it, and then he ended up winning the first SoCal regionals for Street Fighter 4. He beat Mike Ross at Engine Arcade. So that was really cool. if you guys know who like Shigo and Sanchez and all them, they came down. The most I forgot. I think it was 3.1, the one that we made the flyer for. That's when like LA came and terrorized everyone. There's a lot of good pictures. I'll send you some pictures about that one. But that one was really good because it's just it's an epic picture, man. And it's during top 8 in the patio, and everyone's there. I mean, everyone is there. Tong, Gene, just all these SoCal. It's just crazy. Like Mark, I mean, it's every time I see that picture, it's just like, damn, this is something that happened. But top 8 was all basically top 8 was only 2 or 1 SD head, and the rest were all LA heads. So it was.
Is that a thing, or is that like anything that bugged you guys, or it was just
no,
hyped that people came down?
No, we're hyped that people came down, but no, it's there was Street Fighter 4 and Tekken 5 days was like they were very regional. Heavy. It was just like San Diego's gonna be SoCal. Or
who were like the top players for Street Fighter 4 at the time
in San Diego?
Yeah, San Diego.
I want to say, if I can name some, I might. We had a lot, I would say, but I want to say Viscant was one of them. Tong, Lagade, Alex Man. There were a lot, man. Probably missing some name. Oh, Shady K. Fuck, he's the one that fucking won the tournament. If you guys know who Shady K is, Yeb. I mean, there's a lot of names, and we had like a lot of like just below tops. Like I don't want to say me, but it was like me, and then there was like just I don't know. There's just a lot of like San Diego had a lot of talent in Street Fighter 4. But no, it was an epic match because it was like one of the top SoCal players, so much damage, and then it was Shady K, which he like retired from. If you don't know who Shady K is, just Google his name, and a lot of YouTube videos will pop up. He's a beast. But he also made the Power Ranger fighting game. But
I asked him to be on the podcast and he didn't respond.
he was in grand finals, and it was just very intense, dude. Like he came out of nowhere. Like he was on, I don't know if he was like a hiatus or he just hasn't been around, but you know what I mean? He just showed up and he fucked everyone up, man. And he played a guy named So Much Damage, a Sagat player from SoCal. And if you know, Sagat was probably one of the most broken characters of vanilla. But it was grand finals, and a double KO happened, and it was so sick, man, because it was like the last round type of thing. And with the rules we let it rock was just like, oh, dude, like you know how now it's like, oh, both players get a game. No, or like my rule for double KOs was always that game doesn't count. You have to restart, and it was like it was insane. And Shady K ended up winning. It was there was like 60, 70, 80 people in that pot or in that bracket, and this is TTF. You know what I mean? This is a house, bro.
Yeah.
And that's why when I show you these pictures, it's ridiculous, man. And then after that, we had a 5v5, and there was it was like 6 teams of 5, and they ended up winning that. Shady K just OC beat everyone. So when they're like, I forgot I feel so bad because I don't remember who the SoCal guy. He used to do interviews and fighting game shit, but he interviewed Long, and it was like we always joked that like the reason why he went to Evo was because he won PHS and got money, which he always says, and he ends up getting top 8 that Evo also. So yeah, damn. It's insane. There was like but a lot of SoCal players were there during 4 that like, you know, it was Vicious was there, Tatsu, Andy OCR,
Vicious.
Chiggle, just so
Vicious,
many.
Jacob F. Vicious, right?
I have nothing against him anyway, but yeah, there's just a bunch of it was insane, man. It was insane, dude. So
I'm curious. So I have a question. So this is like, maybe you were kind of a TO and you didn't know it before this point, but now you're a legit TO in these years, right? And I looked it up. I looked at your challenge. The first time you started recording challenge tournaments was 2011. So I'm guessing this is before 2011, right?
Oh yeah, this is way. So I don't know when challenge came. It maybe came when you were looking at TO records, but I used to use a thing called TO, which it was a bracket app or a bracket program on your computer that people Smash players use and stuff. Okay. So sadly, all those are probably lost in time. You know what I mean? But
yeah, I was gonna say, like, dude, this is an amazing. Like, I was looking at your challenge today, and it's like, dude,
I think SRK is gone now too, because there used to be a lot of results in SRK, and then I used to have a blog press or a WordPress, whatever. I used to update with the results. It might still be there.
Well, it's safe to say you've like even if it's like 3 games in one Friday or whatever, you've ran over 1,000 tournaments.
Maybe even more, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I want to say, like, how are your TO skills back then at this PHS and like this era compared to like what you know now? Maybe don't talk about what you know now. We'll talk about that later.
Well, I think
like what was your philosophy around being a TO? Like, you probably didn't even think about it like that because now it's like a whole thing. Like, oh, what makes a good TO? But
honestly,
was that a thing? That did you think about?
No, it was. I always
wanted.
wanted. I didn't want to make anyone mad. I didn't want to make these people drive. It was a trial by fire, basically. You know what I mean? There's no TO school. There's no like thread. I'm pretty sure there's a thread now about how to be a TO. You know what I mean? It's just something that you just learn, and like it's trial by fire, bro. It's just you just watch other people TO and you just try to copy it. So I mean,
who were you watching before? Like you started?
I'm not even watching. Just asking like people like Sukin, people that ran tournaments at like those arcades, or even like Alex Valle and even Goot, you know what I mean? Like I like Gutex, like I know these people, you know what I mean? Like all jokes aside, like I've had you know what I mean? I know these people, like all these like people look up to, like in like the FGC, like I know them personally and I talk to them, you know what I mean? Like it's just I'm doing this, what should I do? I'm doing this, what should I do? And then just one of those like, all right, let's do this. So I didn't know about seeding. I didn't know about double jeopardy.
How'd you do seeding?
I used to just throw names in there. I honestly used to just, whoever signed up, I just threw their names in there and then I just hit make bracket. So yeah, there were tournaments where people drove down from LA and they had to play each other first round. And I didn't see why that was bad. I always just thought, oh, these are like the two best Balrogs and they have to play each other right now. Everyone, let's watch. But I didn't know that, dude, like, that sucks. These guys were in a car for like 2 hours and now they have to drive first round. You know what I mean? Or play first round, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, no. And then also you got to remember too, I was just basically having tournaments where the bracket were just filling my friends and they didn't care. They were just playing. I mean, they put $3 in, like, it was a $3 tournament and then we're just all playing homies. But then when that started, when more people started coming down, where it's like, LA, it's like, you don't want to put these people together. Because there were enough people coming down from LA where like, it was insane, man. It just got to the point where it's like, damn, like they might have to play each other first or second round. But then I did learn about seeding. I learned about you don't place the two best players on the same side of the bracket. You know what I mean? It's just that there's a lot of these little things that I'm pretty sure people know now because it's a lot easier. And I've talked to a lot of new TOs about it too. But there's just a lot of little things that you just need to do, and they mean a lot to make a good tournament, a good bracket, a good experience, and just a good show to watch. But yeah. No, in the beginning, it was bad. I would.
Were there any blowouts at the beginning? Like what are your biggest blowouts that happened?
What do you mean?
Like people pissed at like how maybe like things didn't run on time, or maybe they got seated.
I don't think everyone. I don't think nothing really ever. Maybe I mean it would run late, like 3 in the morning, 2 in the morning, and people would stay. I mean, right? People would stay until like 4 or 5. But I think it's just during that time at least. Like with the 4 days, like everyone was still young and like not like this was their life. FGC was their life, and they didn't care where they were or how long. They just thought it was like, I'm up until 4 in the morning. I'm playing this game right now. You know what I mean? Like, but now it's like, fuck, dude, I got work tomorrow. Like, can you hurry up? But there was never really blowouts until now. Where like I guess in the
online tournaments.
Well, not even online tournaments. Just before COVID, it was just like, oh man, it's like too long right now. And I was like, and also you gotta remember like, I only had one PS3, and like everyone it was a community effort. Everyone brought their setups, and I mean, I know it's just like shouts to everyone, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart that brought their setups or their CRTs and shit to TTF back in the day. Like out of the 15 setups that were here, like only 2 were mine. You know what I mean? Like imagine if they weren't there. But now it's just like, I got smarter and I saved money and bought setups where I don't have to rely on people anymore. But we always like welcome people to bring their setups. But no, not until now people kind of complain about the time. But I think back in the day when we were all younger, I think it's age is a lot has to do with it too. But you're younger, you don't really have your career, your job, or only Street Fighter 4 and being the best is on your mind. And if I have to be here until 3 in the morning to play in this tournament, I'm gonna do it, and I'm not gonna complain about it. And that's why I always like we always kind of laugh about the old ways, the arcade days, and the you know what I mean, like that whole dumbass war about like the old days or whatever.
Yeah.
And then everyone's like, but then I always say too, like, dude, like you guys are complaining about, and I agree. Like I'm very old school, and I'm very fuck esports type of guy, and I mean I don't agree with a lot of new things happening and stuff. But I have to sometimes because I'm a TO and a figure in our scene. But it's just like, bro, you're complaining. Like I bought 5 fucking setups, and you're saying this tournament lasts long. It's like back in my day, there was 60 to 100 people, and there was only one Street Fighter 4 cabinet. You know what I mean? And no one said shit. But there
was no other choice. But
there was no other choice. Yeah. And then there kind of is no other choice too. But it's like, bro, like I have 6, you know what I mean? Like, but I don't know. Like there's a lot of stories like that too. But yeah, I mean, it's just you see like I said earlier, like there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff, and there's a lot of I've seen a lot. I've seen, like I said, I've seen a lot of dark days. I've seen a lot, like the eras where I was thinking of closing TTF down and all that. There's a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I want to say like the craziest or your biggest thing you have is, for me, being like the best TO or the one is like consistency of fucking doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the hardest thing with anything. It's like doing it every week, no matter what. I remember there would be a lot of times TTF wouldn't be fucking, it'd be cold out and then
raining.
The wind howling through the thing, but you'd be sitting there fucking, on your chair just chilling. And that's like the hardest thing. It's like everyone's favorite TO, they'll be like, oh yeah, I used to run tournaments for like a year before I started running this big major thing or some shit like that. But like, I'm sure they wouldn't have gone through all the shit that you've gone through, like the consistency and fucking doing it. So that's like the craziest shit. So like, how do you stay consistent, like doing it so fucking often and when you probably don't want to? Because I'm sure there are days you get off work where it's like, no, fuck this, let's cancel this shit or whatever.
If you want my honest answer, it's always for the people. I never think about myself. It's always for the players, because if it's not me doing it, then who is going to do it? You know what I mean? There are people out there that are having shittier days than me and looking forward
to it all week.
And looking forward to all week. And for me to take that away from them, it would be hard. There are times though that I would do that, but it would be like a week announcement. You know what I mean? Or I'm like, dude, I have gout, or even days I did have gout. You know what I mean? I would still run shit, but it's just I was just that dedicated, and I cared. I mean, I do still care for it. You know what I mean? It's just that I care for my scene, I care for my players, and it's just something that consistency is always something that you need. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, if you want to do something and you want people to follow it, you just got to do it. I'll
say this, dude. I used to schedule my work schedule around TTF and WNF just so I could have Friday night off and Sunday morning free, and I would have Thursday, just completely free, just so I can go to WNF and fucking die the next day.
And we're not all lucky to have that, right? I mean, there's like people that are not lucky to have that, and I was just lucky to work for the school district where I had Saturdays and Sundays off, so I could run these events. And when I was at my most competitive, I would want to go to Wednesday night fights, and I would have to wake up at 5 or 6 to go to work. So the days I did go to Wednesday night fights, it's just something I had to deal with. And there's some nights where I go 2 and out, and there's some nights where I'm somehow in top 8. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So I had to stay there longer, and then it would just get to the point where it's already 2 or 3 or whatever, and I would literally just drive to my work site and sleep in my office until it started. You know what I mean? Jeez. And I've done that multiple times. But then again, it's because it was just because I was dedicated, because I really wanted to play with the best. I wanted to learn. I just really wanted to play. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I always tell people too, like, Tekken 7 was the first Tekken that I actually felt I was good in. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it took, or any fighting game, like even for Street Fighter 4, like Tekken 7 was the first game that I felt like I'm doing something in tournament and on the threads and shit. Because people would post my name on the Kuma thread, or there would be a clip about me, or I made it out of my pool, or did you see that match at Evo against Ryan Harden? You know what I mean? Just all these like different like you know what I mean? Like, that's why I don't know, but yeah, that's so, it was just a dead, like, I was this players, some have it, and
finally clicks, dude.
Yeah, so some players don't, like, I always said that. Oh, my bad. It's before, I always just say that it's more than a hobby to some people. It's a passion. You know what I mean? Like, some people it's just a hobby, but to others it's just a passion, like a really big passion.
So, like, man, I feel like it's hard to ask a question like this, but like, so for you, do you think it's like about pleasing people to like run these tournaments and shit like that? Or because, like, okay, so this is something I was thinking about today when I was like, not really brainstorming, but for you, I feel like you're in a unique position. I always think about, it's like you are friends with so many people, or not friends, but you're like a friend to people, so many people. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So when I think about me and like the friendships I have, I'm not like, I don't put that much energy out to be a friend to that many people.
Mm-hmm.
because that's just the energy I have or
Yeah.
whatever. But like for you, I feel like you're such like a good friend with so many different people. So for me, it's like, oh, I consider you a really cool friend, like good friend of mine. But I'm like one of like maybe a million people, or maybe like a bunch of people that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So like I don't know, like how do you have energy for that? It's like so crazy. It's like you have to be like a cool guy to so many people.
Maybe that's. I mean, I'm not gonna say that I like everyone. You know what I mean? It's one of those. There are some people that I ran to. I'm like, I don't like this guy, but there are reasons why. It's like if you make me mad or piss me off, you have to do something. Because I feel like I'm such a stand-up guy, and then I can pretty much take anything. You know what I mean? So you really have to be doing something that really makes me mad, or just like, you know what I mean? Like even if you're fucking weird, like if you're like I'll tolerate you. I don't know where it comes from, bro. Like I was always just a talkative person. I was always able to talk to strangers and like just like, or not, you shouldn't talk to strangers, but you know what I mean? I was always able to start conversations and just like, just really good at talking with people, or just like, getting to know someone, or just like if I see a new face, like, hey, how you doing, man? What are you here for? You know what I mean? Or even at a tournament that's not mine. Like, if there's some dude like by himself, like, it's just like, hey, what's up, bro? Like, why are you here? And it's just something that you have to do. The energy, I don't know, man, because I don't think everyone has it, but it's just, if you do have it, you're just lucky, and it's just got to find a way to like use it in a positive way, I guess. Because you can, I mean, there's probably bad ways you can use it, but I mean, yeah, there's a lot of people I've talked to a lot of people at the house. You know what I mean? Now that you like bring it like that, there's probably a lot of people that I've talked to, and a lot of people that I don't remember their names. You know what I mean? But
yeah, and at this point, you've seen people, I'm sure, change. I mean, you've been doing it for how long? Like,
man.
People change within a handful of years.
I've seen a lot of
decade.
I've seen a lot of downfalls. I've seen a lot of good people go bad people go good. I've seen a lot, families. I've seen a lot, bro. It's crazy.
So I'm kind of curious. Sorry, maybe kind of went too far in that, or backtrack. So the Street Fighter 4 era for TTF, I always wish, like, man, I wish I would move to SoCal like right out of college. But it seems like the most fun era. Like I've heard from Rico, like the OFC shit, Salt Mines, and shit like that. What are your strongest memories from that time? Like, it seems like Street Fighter 4 got better after Vanilla. Does that seem fair to you to say?
I mean, it just. Nah, I don't really think so.
You liked Vanilla? I thought Vanilla was like the fake one, and then Alpha Edition or Super was better.
So I like Vanilla, but how do I explain this? With each new version of the game, the scene got smaller, I guess. I don't know.
Really? Okay, I didn't know that.
How long has Street Fighter 4 been out then? It was like 09 to what? Like
09 to 2015, or to 09 to 2015, late 2015.
Because whenever there were some eras where I think maybe Super Arcade End, where there would be like Friday nights where I'd open the house and only like 2 or 3 people show up, and like I'm not gonna be a dick and kick them out, or there'd be some nights where no one shows up.
What game?
This was like it was Street Fighter. It was Street Fighter and maybe Tag. There are games that didn't do good at the house. So Tag 2 didn't do good at the house. Street Fighter, certain versions of Street Fighter 4. There was a time at TTF where we were waiting for like T6 that we had like Smash, like Brawl tournaments and Soul Calibur tournaments at the house. You know what I mean? Like, but there were
that makes me feel better.
But there were nights though where it's just like, do I really want to do this? You know what I mean? Because it was just no one would show up, and I would have some people tell me like, "Hey man, maybe it's not worth it anymore." You know what I mean? I remember I had I posted something like, I would say I think it was Bronson. He said, "Dude, you do too much, man. Like, you just stop, bro." You know what I mean? And it wasn't in a bad way. It was just like in like just like
like person to person, kind of he knows always.
You don't need to do this anymore. You know what I mean? Like, you're good, bro.
Is he just saying that because he sees your like TZ threads and shit, or
no? It was just that. No, it was just that. Like, I think it was I don't know, man. I think. Because I know it wasn't a negative thing, you know what I mean? It was just like I think it was more of like, just take a break, man. Like, you done enough, you know what I mean? Just like, I think I was making maybe it was like making a depressing post, like, I think I'm closing down because no, you know what I mean? It was maybe one of those, because I've had maybe, like I said, maybe 1 or 2 of those where it's just like, I don't think I'm gonna like open up anymore because like you know what I mean? But then
was that based on people just not coming through?
Yeah, it's just based on entrance and not kind of showing up. It got to the point where like like even my close friends that only come to hang out didn't show up. But then again, like 2 weeks later, it would just like turn her like a 360, you know what I mean? And like it would just be another like big night. But it's just, I guess that's any event. But then I got to learn that I learned that every night's not going to be a good night. You know what I mean? Like, you can have your dead nights and your good nights, or your normal nights. And I learned to accept that. It's just that all tournaments are like that. But yeah, and then I kind of just like got out that like hole and shit. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is, man. Like, and then there are people that are why like they show up to one TTF and there's no one there. It's like, well, this game is dead or this venue sucks because no one's there. And in my head, I'm like, dude, you missed like last week where like fucking 50 people. You know what I mean? But that's also another story where it's just like everyone's just different. Like everyone, the FGC has like a lot of different characters and they're all different. And
yeah,
you can't please everyone.
Yeah.
Like
someone will see like an Evo clip of a huge crowd and then like
expect that to be
crazy.
Every fucking
yeah, like they don't understand. Like this is just the way for people to get better. It's a local scene kind of thing. And yeah, so that's cool. That's good to know. Like I remember like later on, like during even Tekken 7, it would just be cold or some shit. And not too many people would come out, and I'd be like, "Damn, Cody's a soldier." But it's like you definitely train up for that moment from experiencing like.
Oh yeah, I mean you
8 years earlier.
You live half your life outside in the backyard in the cold. It really doesn't affect you, and you just. But then you say you learn like I've been 8 years of like people either showing up or don't. I mean in the end, right? You show up or don't. That's like pretty much the TTF motto now.
Slogan, dude.
Yeah, the slogan. So you show up or don't, man. The real ones are gonna show up, and then usually there are reasons some people don't show up, man. There's a lot of reasons why people don't show up, but the real ones do. You know what I mean? It's just show up or don't, man.
So like during the SF4 area, there's other tournaments in San Diego going on. Did you learn anything from like those TOs and like what they were doing?
A lot. Well, yeah. So during that time was like the box arena. I was helping some tournaments at Comic Odyssey, which was a comic shop or like a card shop. I remember the salt mines came in later on. But I mean, I didn't really learn anything because I always felt like I was doing a good job because I'm not gonna say I was like just being a dick about it, but I always thought, my tournaments are having more entrants, so I don't have to worry about it. You know what I mean? And I think it's more because I was just young and dumb, and it's just like, I mean, back in the day, like it kind of was clicky, like with the different TO groups, I think. But I still, even though like I always didn't want to think it was that, but it was. You know what I mean? Like I always wanted to say that everyone's welcome up the house. But then there are still people that thought it was very cliquey because it was. I mean, TTF is a super big group, man. Like if you think about it, we're like a gang, basically, man. Like, and there's a lot of people from the OG days. And the thing with us too is that we supported all tournaments. So we were all at the boxing, we were all at Salt Mines. There was always TTF tags and all these tournaments. You know what I mean? And then sometimes maybe something bad happened and we're associated with it or something. But I didn't really learn anything. Like honestly, if I did ever learn something, it was like what not to do, I guess.
Right. Yeah. Even that.
You know what I mean? Yeah. That was probably because, like I said, I felt like I was doing so good because I always got such big numbers that I didn't really need to learn anything. And I'm basically doing everything myself too. Like no one's running the tournament with me. Like no one's. It's really hard for me to ask for help. It's not until before COVID happened was like. Maybe whatever, like when you know what I mean, like before COVID came, like I started asking for help when like people started running helping me run other brackets and stuff. You know what I mean? And even before that, there are people behind the scenes too. That there would be people I'll be running around in the backyard, and then Tokyo or Vince would be on the stream station doing the results. And you know what I mean? Like I mean, those are like the people behind the scenes that they were always helping too. They didn't. I never asked them to do it. They just did it. You know what I mean? And if I could pay them, I would. You know what I mean? But I always just. I think also one of the things is I just was always known as the guy that just ran tournaments by himself. Like, and I would always kind of be mean, be like, you can't even run an 8-man tournament. Like I ran you know what I mean? One of those things. I'm not trying to be a dick, but it's just like, come on. I would always like say, you guys can do it. Cause if I can do it, you can do it. It was one of those, you know what I mean? Like if I can do this by myself, then you guys can do it. But then like everyone can't, you know what I mean? And,
right.
But yeah, so when all those other TOs, like I never really like learned, like I said, I think if anything, I learned what not to do, but I still enjoyed my time at those. I miss them. I miss every venue. Like I always say that I want more venues in San Diego. You know what I mean? I want a place to play that's not my house. I want to play in it. I want to play in a tournament. You know what I mean? I want to play in a tournament. I don't want to worry about anything. You know what I mean? I don't want
you always look like you're having more fun when it's like at TC Rockets or some shit.
Yeah. I don't want like more fun. Some guy coming up to me saying, "Oh, here's my results." When I'm playing Ian in grand finals, this guy's tapping me on the shoulder. I'm like, and it's always like looking. You know what I mean? It's like fuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Every time you're playing a match, as soon as you finish, you get up and you go back to work. It's like it's not the same as like everyone else just says fuck you and then just starts watching match. You can't do it. That's what sucks. But I get what you mean, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Shin Vince coming up to you.
Man,
And
though, you know what I mean?
Get a whiff of that.
Those are even funner when like you win too. When everyone's just like, and then like, well, that was a tournament. I'm sorry. Like, yeah, motherfucker, that was a tournament too.
Oh my god!
But I'm not gonna say that to him.
Okay, so talking about SF4 stuff. All the OFC versus was it OFC versus TTF?
It was OFC versus San Diego, which was pretty funny. So I guess
Who was San Diego in that group?
Well, the crazy thing about that was that it was a lot of people. I mean, we had 3 of them, I believe, and we only lost one. I'll just say right now, we lost one and we won the last 2, I think. No, I know we won the last 2. So, San Diego, the first one was me, Ilya. If you guys know Ilya, Ilya.
What version Street Fighter 4? Sorry, just for context for the listeners.
Maybe Super. I don't know. I honestly, I'm not
okay. That's fine.
It wasn't vanilla for sure. It wasn't vanilla.
Okay.
But Ilya, me, yeah, I don't know, Lacey, and 2 of Ray. I mean, this is some OG heads that were actually pretty good. Maybe Sam, I mean, there were a lot of good players, but OC, North County, were always the same 5, basically. But they were all good. Like, it was their clique. It was what they consider OC. They were all, like, the good players. So it was, like, Richard, the first one, the joke is that the only reason they won the first one because Vince was on the team, because he wasn't on the last 2. It was, like, Richard, Vince, J-Flo, I want to say Rico and maybe Sean. And then it kind of, like, then we kind of mixed it. So we kept having some, and then it got to the point where people were mad that they were on the team. They're like, well, I want a shot. I want, you know what I mean? And I kind of thought it was like, and then, you know, they're talking to me because I'm the TL, right? I'm the guy that's setting these things up. So I had to make it fair. So I was talking to Richard or the OFC guys. I was just like, hey, man, I'm going to do it this way, but you guys can do whatever you want because I know you only have this. You know what I mean? Like, I already know like their OFC team is always going to be the same guys because it's like these are really the only players that are good. You know what I mean?
Like when fucking when Running Black would team up with Yam Flip, dude. That shit was
yeah.
The most aggravating thing.
So, losers, man, just have fun. It's like
so. For me to be fair, we had tournaments qualifiers for it, but how we did it was that there's one captain, and that captain is always has a spot on the team, and the 4 players and the other 4 spots you have to win tournaments for it. So Richard was the captain on one team, but I mean he's already going to pick his 4, and we had no problem with it because you know that was their group. It was OC, was like a small group also, but since it was San Diego and there were more than just TTF, it was everyone else. It was funny too because I guess there's other venues, but it's just like they didn't do anything about it. I think it's just because it's just the group of friends, I guess it was kind of TTF, but whatever. But we just had tournaments in my house. We had 4 tournaments, and you can enter as many as you want. And the only reason you can only enter them if you weren't on the team already. So I think the Friday or the week before the 5v5, we just had 4 different tournaments at the house, and that's how it ended up, man. The last 2 we just had qualifying spots for those 4, and that's how the team was made. But in the end, it was basically Ilya like OCVing everyone. So I remember one time. Okay, so I remember something cool was like Street Fighter 4 days was like they were doing a 5v5 for bar fights. I think like the Gutex thing, or it was like a regional battle, and they were doing qualifiers, and they couldn't have a qualifier at this arcade or something. And Gutex hit me up saying, "Can we have a qualifier at your house, an open qualifier?" I mean, and they would be like a lot. You know what I mean? I would have been down, but I mean, I had plans already because it was kind of like an off day. So that was pretty cool. I mean, there's so much, man. There's like a lot of I talked a lot of shit back in the day. I mean, I still do, but back in the day, it was like it was cold blooded. So I remember a lot of shit talking, a lot of money matches, just a lot of good memories, man. A lot of good memories. But I guess on record, I'll say I think one of my most favorite Street Fighter 4 moments is the team tournament with when I teamed up with Rico and Vincent, the 3E tournament or the 3E night. That shit was sick because it was just like it was a story basically, man. It was because I was like the first 5v5 or the second one, and I just met these guys and like I started to become friends with them. Like, dude, these guys have everything in common. I was like, hey, you guys want to team up? You know what I mean? Like I think it would be cool because it'll be like just like mixing regions and shit. I think we end up like losing the first game or something or second to to Ilya's team, and then in the end, and we're just wrecking everyone in this tournament, and everyone's just like watching it because we're just popping off and talking shit. I mean, it's just like the synergy is crazy, man. And then in the end, we have to play the team that sends losers. So it was Ilya, Chad, and Lacey. And the cool thing about that is that they're each one of our demons. So my demon was like Ilya, Rico was Lacey, and Vince was Chad, or it might be the other way around. But we each beat them. So like Vincent beats Chad, and then but Lacey beats Vince, and then next one's up. Then Rico beats them, and then and next one, and in the end it's me versus Ilya. And I remember it just like it's I think it's last game, last round. And then the saddest thing about this is the VOD is not there no more. But I just remember it because it was just such a great moment. Was I remember like I made him whiff a wake up DP. I made him wake up DP, and then I stunned him, and I pretty much win. But the whole time, Rico's just doing the Goonies quote in the background, and I was just like, it was, and we win and we pop off, and it was like everyone's just fucking going crazy, and then we end up losing like Richard's team in grand finals. But I mean, it's just everyone felt it, bro. Like everyone, it was just crazy, man. Like it was. And if you look at that bracket, like Richard, like they made it through winners, so they only had to play like 3 games. The team that got third, like maybe only had to play 4 games. We had to beat like 6 or 7 teams because we got sent to losers first. Yeah. It was so sick, dude. And yeah, that's why Empress Cup is a tournament, because we celebrate. That's why the tournament's in February, because that happened in February. And we always do team tournaments to like celebrate like that team.
Is that what the E stands for?
Yeah, 3E. Yeah, the Emperor. The 3 Emperor. Yeah, that's our team, 3 Emperors, because it's a One Piece reference. But yeah, that's probably like a Street Fighter 4. I mean, there's so many moments in Street Fighter 4, man. Just like the connection with SoCal, and just like all these tournaments. Me beating Tong for the first time, But yeah.
How often did you go up to? So like for me, like living in Minnesota, like my favorite thing was to watch NLBC and then watch WNF afterwards and be like, God, I wish I lived in one of these coasts for this kid. How did you go up to like WNF like during that heyday for like Ultra and like right before Ultra as well? Like
I would be at Super. There's sometimes I would go back to back because they would have Wednesday night fights and they would have the run back on Thursdays. But before Wednesday night fights, I would go to they would have ran bats at AI Arcade Infinity for vanilla. Then I would go to like random Tekken tournaments at Vid 94. Tekken tournaments. I traveled if it was any tournament at SoCal and I was able to go, I would be there basically.
Dude, Vid 94 seems badass, man. I feel like we haven't talked too much about Tekken, but fucking. Did you play Tekken 5 there at DR?
No, Tekken 6 was the Tekken. I believe.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's that ghetto ass tournament everyone has a story about.
Yeah,
or no,
that's where they got raided. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've spent a lot of nights there because that place like would close. Like, it's pretty. Yeah, that place is really cool.
Okay, so let's talk about Street Fighter 5. I feel like this is like, I feel like that's when I first started coming, or it's definitely when I first started coming. But like, I remember, like, were you just excited for 5 to come out? I remember you got the setups.
Yeah, I was super excited. I mean, if you guys know, I had a podcast. We did our podcast and we're talking about Street Fighter 5 and we're talking about I'm gonna
go right after this. Right after this, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna find the episode, but it's gonna be like a February 2016.
Yeah, it was I think after. Damn it, dude! I just saw. Yeah, I mean, it came up recently, and I laughed at it because the picture's like Ryu. I don't know. You'll see it, but no, it was me, Vince, and Will talking about what we wanted, what we think would happen, and what needs to happen in order for this game to survive and shit.
Do you remember what you said or what your expectations were?
My expectations were high. It was very high. Actually, I don't know, man. I can't remember what I said, but if I would have to guess, it would probably be that I think the game is going to do great. I was excited for it, but the people need to be dedicated because 4 was dying in the end, and this game would have to relight the fire, and it did, but not for a short time. It
was like until Ibuki, like June. It was like till June.
It was still something, but then because I remember the house would be packed, and then I just don't remember when it just started dying, and it was like the same 8 assholes as we joke about. But that's when like the whole dedication and maybe like people not wanting to go to the house or just it was a dead game. Like it was just crazy. I was just one of those like, I sat through Vanilla, Sagat, and 4 and like Chun-Li for Third Strike, and you guys like get the, you guys just, I don't know. It was just a lot of complaining, I guess. Like no one, but it also, I honestly think it was a bad game too in the end. Like I didn't care because I'm a competitor and I wanted to play, and like I kind of knew it was a bad game. So, but it didn't stop me from playing. But I think a lot of people use that as an excuse to stop playing. Like, this game.
So personally, I got destroyed by Armand and fucking Sherry that I didn't even show up again for like So long.
Well, that's unfortunate because you could have just showed up and hanged out, but
I could have, but you guys always were standing behind me and laughing at me. No, I'm joking. It's just in my head. But I remember Javi being the one guy there I talked to, and Javi always makes a joke that I taught him birdie and shit like that. Yeah, but I remember we both played birdie, and he would be actually talking about oh, I think this move is really good to punish that move, and I'd be like, hey, dude, check it out. I'm gonna chain this person in the air. I was such a fucking nerd.
Yeah, Javi he's a perfect example of someone that stuck around and became a top player. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So when I got back and I remember not when I got back, but I was at home and I saw Javi beat Punk, and I was like, fuck, I should have kept playing this stupid ass game because I played the same character, and I was like, dude, I beat this fucking asshole before. Not really, but lucky ass shit.
Yeah.
But, dude, yeah, I remember in Street Fighter 5. I already told you this yesterday in chat, but I beat El Rosa one time when Ibuki came out. Did you read when I said this?
No.
But it was the first game. So he it was Ibuki the day it was the week she came out. El Rosa, he's King of Fighters player.
Yeah.
He picked Ibuki. I fucking beat the Ibuki, and then he switched to his main character and beat me. But I felt so good. I was like, damn, this is tight. But he was like, oh, I never even played that character. I was like, all right, fuck you. But dude, it was such a good Street Fighter 5 had its moments. It was tight. But yeah, you kind of sat through another kind of downturn, and you lived through that. It seems like it's just your story is all about living through these kind of matches.
That's all it is, right? You just have to live through these struggles and find ways around it, and then just be grateful for the people that still support it. So even if, because it's also for a very long time, and still it's not all about the money. You know what I mean? For me, at least, it's just I want people to play and have a place to play. And I mean, it also comes to we always thinking that the reasons why people don't want to show up. People think me and Vince hate everything. Do people, it's a house. I understand the house is not in the best condition, and it might be a little shady. There's people just do drugs and drink there. But it's one of those those are all true reasons maybe, but it's also one of those if they can maybe get past that, they can also understand that the people here are actually trying to learn and legitimately play. I mean, what other places? I mean, if there might only be 5 people playing Street Fighter 5, you have the 15 playing Tekken, but Richard will be there and he will sit down with you and play Street Fighter 5 with you and tell you what you're doing wrong or right, or or just have people playing Tekken 7 there to give you games, or you know what I mean? Just if you can get.
I remember you before you'd close up the tournament, you'd play me in a first to 10 to 20 or some shit.
Yeah, because I would always try to triple perfect you.
I remember just there's always be people there who train you up if you fucking gave a shit. No,
yeah, like Dewey.
Time.
Oh man.
Oh my god, Dewey. He was a nuisance.
No, but
he would train you for 5 hours straight, dude.
He made me look bad. He when I would beg people for rematches, I would remember Dewey in my head. I'm all right, I gotta he was so bad.
Man, that is a downfall, because I knew that guy for the Gold Token days too, man, and that's just one of those the rise and fall stories too, man. But no, it's just also
go ahead and talk about it. He doesn't know what a podcast is, dude. He couldn't spell.
No, I mean, I've seen that guy. I before fighting games, he knew my cousin. He had a crush on my sister back in the day. He was a good kid, man. And then just drugs, dude. Drugs are bad. Yeah. You know what I mean?
That's what everyone has told me about him, which is, I never saw the old Dewey, but the first time I experienced, a weird person at TTF, it was sadly him, you guys don't have a fucking handbook or a manual of who's the.
And then it was just one of those things too, is that he was around because we all knew him, and if he did do something, we would just put him in check. But he wasn't always like that, man. And then it's just drugs are a hell of a thing, man.
Yeah, because I think Leon and Nick were the ones who told me God, that's not the Dewey that we all know, but it's just it's what we're.
It's a shell of what he used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But first time I bumped into him, dude, he asked me for a match. I didn't know him, so I was like, yeah, I'm down to play you. And then this dude would just drag me till 3 a.m. He would not let me go, dude. I was like, I need to fucking go. This fucking 3. How long can you play for? He's down 70 games. He still wants to keep going, dude.
Yeah, I remember one time. Oh my god, this is the crazy. It's like me being a bitch and not realizing that I'm being treated like a bitch. So me and Dewey always drank sugar-free Red Bulls at TTF. Right, and fucking one day, his sugar-free Red Bull was opened, and I had just opened one. It was on that stoner table. I went up to it and just drank it, and he's like, "Dude, that's my Red Bull," and it was his. Okay, so I was like, "Fuck, dude, my bad." Okay, I'm gonna go drive to the store and get you one. Right, so I actually just drove to the store and got him a new one. Right, So I had like 2 Red Bulls that were like just open that I had drank in his, right? I give it back to him. He's like, no, I don't want it now. I'm going to get that back from you another time. He's like, you're going to pay me back another time, but I don't want that Red Bull now. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah,
dude?
yeah. There's a lot of stories.
He's like, you're going to pay back. He's like, you're going to pay me back, but not right now.
So did you ever hear the story about, I don't think James, the James that you talk about and him, but did you hear that one, apparently someone like cut James's brake lines or something?
What?
Yeah.
TTF?
No. So let me finish the story. Yeah. So someone cut his brake lines, and then he was like in the car with his son, and like, well, I'm not gonna get into it, but he, in the end, he thinks Dewey did it because like they had like a something happened at the house over like a controller or something. So he thinks that he did it, and then he would always bring that up to me. But in my head, I'm like, I don't think he's that dumb. You know what I mean? But that's always just something that always like, I was like, damn, you know what I mean? It was always like, that's crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wild, dude.
I'm gonna ask him. I'm just gonna ask him randomly. Like, have you ever cut someone's brake lines? Like, I'm gonna ask him how. I'm gonna ask him how do you cut brake lines?
Because he knows about cars. So
yeah.
Damn. One time he just messaged me like this story was like midnight. He's like, hey, dude, I'm all the way down south. Where do you live? I need an arcade stick. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, I'm driving up to LA. I need a Korean. I need a lever. And I was like, okay, dude. And I don't know why, but he was already on his way down to the, down south when I lived in San Diego at the time. He just I don't know, put me in a weird spot, but I was kind of cool with him, I guess. So, it wasn't the weirdest thing that he's, requested, but yeah, I gave that dude a Korean lever like at 1 a.m. dude.
Damn. I always think about too, Dan. This is probably going too far. This might be an edit out comment, but man, poor Chanel, dude. Fucking
yeah.
The fuck.
Yeah. Dude. I mean, I've God bless
that
her.
was a whole head scratcher. That whole thing was a head scratcher.
Yeah, dude. No, I mean she was very sweet. God bless her, like, and then just when she would tell me some stories about Dewey, I'm like, bro, he told you, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, like, I'd be like, stop listening to him, dude. Like,
and then
remember that you went to Strong Style?
Yep.
And then he was like in the room sleeping, and he's like, "Babe, let's just hang out here until they kick us out."
Yeah. Yeah.
And then and then for his sets, I remember he was like drunk, and then me and you were like, and then he told us the next day, like, yeah, I was drunk for my sets yesterday. Me and you looked at each other like, mango. Just fucking with him, like, no, but, why are you getting drunk?
But I guess in the end is she didn't deserve that. So sorry, she was a very sweet person. No, I mean, very nice person.
Yeah, no, she's awesome. We asked her to come on the very first episode.
I remember that.
Okay. All right. So T7, dude, you're like, I feel like the last 5 years have been such a blur because of COVID. It fucking sucks.
Yeah.
But you ran a lot of Tekken tournaments. Your bears are nasty. I remember this vividly. I remember one time Ian left TTF early because he got beat by you. He's like, I just lost to Cody. I'm leaving. Like, he fucking stormed out, and I was like, "What the fuck?" So I feel like there's a lot of people who just got surprised by your bears. That's like one of the honest memories that I have.
Yeah, I don't want to interrupt you, but no, I remember those. Ian's not the first person. I remember if that's happened to Avon, that's happened to a lot of people. But the thing is that since they're better players than me, that they would go home and see what they did wrong, and then the next day they would just fucking
right.
I would never even get close to that. Yeah, I remember Ian told me that he said like that night you fucked me up. Like I went straight home and just went, and then I mean I could obviously tell the next like the other tournaments and stuff, but. Yeah, my bad. Yeah, continue.
What happened during Tekken 7? So it's like obviously you were a competitor before, but did you change anything, or were you just playing more?
I think,
or what?
So I think what it was it was a new Tekken, and I can start new only because my character wasn't in it. So Ganry wasn't in it, and man, damn, that's crazy. Yeah, it was just a new Tekken. I mean, nothing really carried on from the old ones. Kind of. I want to say. I mean, you guys might have opinions, but I think it was like a kind of a dumber down version, a little easier version. Yeah, it was a lot easier because Tag 2 and 6 I think were a really hard game, or I think Tag 2 was a really hard game. So it was like a lot easier, a lot more just I can play it. I don't know. It was a new game, and I was just like, you know what? It's a new game. I want to play it, and I want to try to be the best again. Not again, but I just want to be the best. So let's see how far I can get with it. And it took a while though, because like I said, Bears wasn't my first character. I was struggling. I was in a character crisis because I played Ganryu for so long, and I even played him when he was like shitty. Like Tekken 6, he was really bad, and I still stuck with him. And I got my ass kicked so bad one day online by a bear that I decided to use him. And I never ever won. I'm such a big character loyalist that I was trying to stick with Raven, but it just made me so mad that I lost to like this character that everyone thinks is trash or something like that. And then I started using him, and I was like, wow, this is actually a pretty badass character. And it's one of those things where it's like, I'm adding more to this, but it's just like I always like to pick people that look cool, and in the end, I was like, damn, bears are pretty badass. So I just like using him. And then also, I guess this is like the first time where I started playing more defensively. I was always known to be like a rushdown player, using with all my other characters in other fighting games. So like playing Birdie and playing Kuma, like I realized that if you playing defensively is a lot better because I would just my whole game plan with Kuma was always just to wait for someone to whiff something half screen and bear piston them because bear piston is just so ridiculous. And you can hit confirm it, which just makes me sad because I use Ganry now. But what bear piston is like, you can do the first. I always thought hit confirming was hard, but now that I feel like I'm just so older and like not better, but just an older player that I can see it now, was that it's a lot easier for me to hit confirm now. That it's just crazy that first hit on that move is safe if you don't finish it. You know what I mean? So just knowing to see the little hit marker, but yeah, I mean that's why I basically picked Kuma, and because I just got my ass kicked so bad by him that I just picked him up, and then I just learned so many tricks with him. I watched videos, I just talked to people, and yeah.
And this was before the rank chew Evo win, which is when people started, because they used to
Before,
always talk
not
shit
even Evo win.
about
It was the Tekken Tour win before that. I mean, I don't think there were many players. There was like Ollie, and there's a lot of bear players out there, but I don't think there's a lot of bear players that would go to tournaments. Like I would always. Not always, but when I show up the Wednesday night fights, that guy's there again. You know what I mean? Or
I remember after CWT, you were like, "Oh fuck, I did rank shoot one." Like people are gonna think I'm being a dick right now.
Yeah, that's the thing because everyone used to always talk shit about bears, but before that, there's bear players, but no one who was ever on stage playing bear. Nobody.
Dude, that whole thing seems like a fever dream. The fact that he fucking won that shit.
Oh man, that was really cool too because that just gave me more stuff to watch. You know what I mean? Like, I can watch this guy play. Like, I would be at work watching videos, his matches, and like seeing what I can do and stuff. But no, like this is like I said, this was I was saying earlier, like this was the first Tekken that I actually thought was good, and I was studying more. I was looking at videos, I was looking at frame data a lot more. I was, you know what I mean? Like I know all my bad habits from the older ones, and I try to not do them. And I was talking to more people. I was getting more. I'm not really a casual guy, but I was just so into this game where I would want to play with people. Or I try to get games in, and then, like I said earlier, I know a lot of people shit on frame data, mostly Rico and stuff. But
I'm so mad. I was thinking about him. I'm so mad at him for saying that everyone just wins their first tournament and it's an easy game. Like, no, it's fucking talk to that. He doesn't know his shit, dude.
I can't. That can be a whole topic about Rico. But no, I always believed, and I still believe in it though, because it. Like I said, maybe it took me 8 or so years until now to actually start using frame data. And I was so used to back in the day with like, this is what punishes what. And I think I sent you a video with Damn Guy, and he talks about what flow is. And flow is pretty much a state of mind where you play, where you let everything happen. You know what punishes what, you know what to do, and everything just works out in your favor. And I always believed in that. And the only person and I remember who told me that was Lagade, because he knew my play style, because we would play so much. And he's like, you play like this. Like, you don't know frame data, but you just know what to do when and where, which is also something. But in the end, frame data is something you need, especially in a game like Tekken. In Street Fighter, yeah, because there's only 3 moves, and you know what's not safe and what's safe. You know what I mean? But in Tekken, there are so many. Like even before 7, they like lowered it. But before all the other there were so many moves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I always think that there are the top 10 moves you should be using, but then there are more than 10 moves in the whole game, and you have to know what's what, because there could be a move that looks completely safe, but it's like -20 for some reason. And you might not know that, and you would lose to it. I mean, it's just something you have to know. You have to know, especially like mostly, I think in Tekken, frame data is very important. I don't think it's important in Guilty Gear. I don't think it's really important in I don't think it's very important in 2D fighters, but
yeah,
it is. But I mean, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say there's a lot of moves in Tekken, like for example, backswing blows. There's a lot of backswing blows, and not all of them are as punishable as others. Some could be launch punishable, some you might just get a standing punish, and that's kind of confusing for someone who's never, labbed, all the characters. Like,
and you have to know that sometimes your character can't even punish it. your character might not be able to launch punish you. You only get a wall rising 4. You might, you know what I mean? And you have to know what you can get to get the most damage in that game. Because I think Tekken 7 is a very unforgiving game. You get hit. My whole thing was my whole mindset in Tekken 7 when I was playing in Tournament Kuma is just to only hit you twice with pistons. Because if I hit you twice with bear twistons, I know 2 combos that will kill you. You know what I mean? So my whole game plan was waiting for you to whiff twice. You know what I mean? That was because you will die. You know what I mean? It's just that I just think frame data is just so important because if you block a hell sweep, and you're only getting wall rising 4, like what are you really doing? Yeah, because there are some like bears. If you block a hell sweep and you get it quick enough, you can bear pistons it. That's how unsafe it is. And that if you're a top competitive player, you have to know what the most you can get out of something. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because God forbid you lose a match to get into top 8 because you wall rising 4 and not wall rising 2 like something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's like the moves like that, or like those low high moves, where there's like that big gap. Like I've always tried to make it clear, like to my opponent, that I'm gonna delay hop kick that move every single time. Like if I block a hell sweep, I'm gonna try and launch it as badly as I can, so that you don't want to. It throws away like their whole game plan. Just throws away the hell sweep, right? Like and then it does change like the way people play against you if you properly punish these moves. I don't think it's the first thing you should worry about if you're starting to learn any game, but if you do want to eventually get to a higher level, it's something to really consider.
But in the end, that's what it is. You want your opponent to do what you want them to do. So if you keep blocking this hell sweep, that takes it away from them. So now that option is gone, where they're not thinking of that. So you basically want to get into your opponent's head.
Yeah.
That's what the whole you want to always set up on the 50-50. Like you just want to put them like, I know what you're gonna do, and if you do it, I'm gonna fuck you up. So you make them scared where they don't want to do nothing. So when they do something, it's gonna be unsafe, and you kill them. That's what that's why I like fighting games too. It's just it's a battle, bro. Like it's more than just smashing buttons. It's literally just it's a mindset. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's also like it's mental warfare. So yeah, there you go. It's mental warfare. Yeah, exactly.
So so I want to talk about this. So it's really cool with you in Tekken 7. There's a lot of newcomers to TTF. I wasn't a newcomer really. I was more immersing myself into Tekken. Mm-hmm. And I'll never forget this. It was on a TTF Live, like early 2017 one. And you were talking about like all the new Tekken players, right? And this is before the new player round robin. Do you remember? You obviously remember this. I remember. I have reasons for why that happened, and I never fucking brought them up. But there's reasons why that shit happened. But
okay.
I thought that shit was so cool. Like you were very supportive of all the new people playing the game, right? So it was like. And what was I gonna say? You had a party the night before that tournament, okay?
Okay.
And when I got in there, there's like 24 packs of Busch Light on the counters. So I drank like 6 Busch Lights before that fucking tournament. And I remember walking out of that tournament when I was 1-9 playing Jin's team Blast Blue. Like, Cody, it's not a big deal, right? You're like, no, it's not a big deal. And I was like playing Jin's Blast Blue team, and I went and slept in my car and like until the morning. I remember, like, that's why. Anyway, that's really cool. Like, you were very nurturing to the new players and shit like that. I thought that was cool.
I mean,
I remember once. Sorry, I want to take one this last thing. You're I remember Leon and fucking what's his name, Yan Flip.
Okay,
we're playing on a setup. And I went up to him like, hey, is this tournament? I want to get in on this, right? And then you came up to me like, no, it's a tournament, but it wasn't a tournament. They were just training for Evo. You were shooing me away like, leave these people alone.
That's the turn wasters, dude. Yeah.
And then another fun memory.
Go find someone else.
Another fun memory is you made me play Paul every week for like 8 weeks in a row. You were like,
I don't. Okay.
Half it was like I believe, and you probably don't even like remember doing it, but like I think part of it was like, Kadar, you can beat Paul. Maybe, it's like if you just train like oh my god, I really did put in time against King or like practicing King, but like you would never know it if I played a King today. But those are like my fondest memories of TTF. You training with me afterwards, to show me like, okay, this is how you play. You making that video of me fucking
the video
got your Twitter account. All right, so for context for the viewers, Cody and I did like a first of 5 or some shit, and he dubbed over the video with "Hello Darkness, my old friend." Hello Darkness, my old friend. And then 5 years later, like that.
Well, you didn't tell him what you were getting hit by over and over again.
Whatever, man.
It's
It was like some bullshit, like bullshit. No, it was like
Just laying down 1+2, dude.
Yeah, I kept getting hit by the Winnie the Pooh. It was like the worst shit, dude. And fucking
Justin just talking shit in the background, laughing, dude.
Yeah, everyone's laughing at me. That's like the classic. And then fucking 5 years later, the band. What was the band's name?
Simon Garfunkel, bro. Come on, dude.
Oh, Simon Garfunkel. Yeah. So Simon Garfunkel nuked his Twitter account because he had this fucking video.
It's true.
So fucking karma. But anyway, dude, those were like such good times. Like, I hope you know, like you create like me and Ian are like such great friends because of we met at TTF like when T7 came out. Like, I don't know. You should just feel really proud of yourself. Like,
that
whole time is awesome.
But you never really realize that until something's gone. As in, when I say that is that I never realized how many people that, like I said, like I'm having TTF because one guy might have had a really shitty day and this was looking forward to. And he comes here and he's just literally for like a week he's waiting for this. I remember the first time closing down, when the Mitchell Switch incident happened, and we closed down and we started the GoFundMe and everything. And then everyone wrote a message and there was a lot of messages, and then it was just like, I on the verge of crying or something, or like, damn, it's like, you really put an impact on a lot of people's life. A lot of people weren't social people, but then TTF happened and now they're like, it got them out the shell, or they might not have had friends, but now they have, you know what I mean? It's just, there's a lot of those stories.
Okay, I'm not that big of a loser. I mean, I was just, for me, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. But there are
people out there that they're not as lucky as us to have such a big group of friends that, they're like, wow, you guys are so easily welcoming to someone like me that, just can't even talk.
It's like what is it called? Exposure therapy is what I like to call it, right? Like you gave a lot of people socialization that they didn't normally get.
Because it might be
like Jed seems way more outgoing than when I first met Jed or some shit like that. Or, you know what I mean? Like, like even though Jed is before my time, like he's there, but like I remember before he had like a bright blue watch, like looking like a fucking nerd, and now he's like a swag lord, right? Like he's fucking tight. So it's like there's people that that have just like evolved over just that once a week. Like, sorry, go ahead.
I totally forgot what I was gonna say, but I was just no, you're right. And then you never realize that because you're just a TO that's getting drunk and just I'm like it's just. You've seen the house, right? Like like I always say, it's just that it's it seems like a party, but if you can get past that, there's actually people in there training to be like Evo champions, I guess. You know what I mean? And I always say that we do, like, Evo makes monsters. I mean, look at Richard or Evo. TTF makes monsters. Like I mean, look at Richard. Richard has done so well. Not even Richard, Ian. I mean, I'm not trying to take credit for you guys doing well at tournaments, but I mean. Where else do you guys play that's not offline? I'm like, I'm not forcing you guys to put TTF in front of your name, blah blah blah. But it's just like that makes me happy. It makes me proud. Always, it's the proud dad moment. Like at the strong style 3v3 when you Nick and Kenny did good, and and someone pointed. I think little J-Flo pointed out. It's like, dude, they put the little TTF symbol by their names, and it's like I didn't tell them to do that. You guys did that on your own. You know what I mean? And it was just like, damn, it's or like. Even on like the online tournaments, like James beating Ho, or like like San Diego heads beating like good players. It's like, damn, like I've seen like a lot of these guys, like Ona guy. I've known that guy for so long, and like seeing him like still playing and doing good. It's like, damn, dude, like you really. This is it's just like because you're a TO for San Diego, you're a region. We're not so like I would say we're not so covered San Diego. So every time I see any of our players do well, like mostly Richard, Toki, who else is cool? No, but you see, but it's just it's a. I'm not trying to take credit for it. It's just that I'm proud of everyone. I'm proud of all the people that stuck around. I'm proud for everyone. That's it's just it really is a proud dad moment.
Yeah, I've mentioned it before on the podcast that a lot of like my Tekken skill, whatever you want to call it, like I got that training. Online in tag too, because I didn't really, go to offline tournaments. Like I learned most of my Tekken fundamentals playing, online, just on my own. But when I started going out to tournaments, tournaments a whole different experience. Being there in person, having people watching you, like in pools, all that shit's, like TTF like prepped me for all that, And then I was also like prepping to try and win at WNF because that's kind of like the you know, I wasn't trying to get too far ahead of myself. I'm like, if I really want to, you know, be good, I want to beat, you know, people at my local, and then I want to beat people at, you know, at WNF, because I feel that's where they have the majority of like the best players from SoCal.
No, hands down.
And then, you know, and then I think majors. You know, like I wanted to see, you know, if I could win at TTF, I could win at WNF. I could probably win a major, and I could probably, you know, win the bigger tournament. You know, that was kind of like my structure. But yeah, a lot of my tournament experience, I mean, the majority of it was TTF. You know, and being able to play under any condition, you know, like I mentioned, I mentioned it too, that at Summer Jam was like one of the roughest tournament experience for me, but I was able to power through with like, you know, 2 hours of sleep and, you know, fucking no food and having to piss and all that. Like I've been able to, you know, power through some crazy shit, and it's probably from, you know, from TTFs, dude.
I always, that's something I'm very proud of, is because, you know, we would always play in the cold outside. We would always play outside. We'd always have people yelling, screaming, drunk random people talking to you during a match that's like important to you. And then it you know, no headphones, no whatever. But it
shouldn't Vince bend over?
No, yeah. I totally forgot about that. But then the thing is that I always said that too. That gets you ready for these tournaments, because when you go out to these majors, imagine if you're going to like Atlanta and then you got like a pork chop yelling at the, you know, it's something you're like, oh, I'm used to this. Like I remember when I went to NEC and I was playing. It was a member of Korn or something. It was like one of K-Brad's home, whatever. They were yelling at me the whole. I won the match by the way. But then I had the biggest smile on my face, because in my head I'm like, dude, I talk shit all day, and this is just like whispering compared to what I hear at my house.
Is this when you shouted the N-word right after, right?
No,
I heard that. I'm just joking.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, totally. No, but no, but it's just that, and then there are people that complain about it, like, oh, why are we outside? But in the end, it's like, you know, it's a whole different level of training. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's getting you ready for the outside world, because you never know what's gonna happen. You don't know if the AC is gonna be broken at a tournament, and you're like, hey, I played in the winter. You know what I mean?
NCR, dude, holy shit, nasty ass tournament.
I just think that if you really, because I've signed up for so many tournaments and hotel and bitched out. I'll be 100%. I bitched out on going to so many tournaments that I feel like that a big thing that for people is you have to go to tournaments like majors. You have to go to CEO. You have to go to NC. You have to, if you want to get better. If you're really trying to be a good player, you have to play people that are not from your region to get better. Yeah. You have to play different playing styles, and you just need that experience. And I really feel like me not going to those tournaments was one of the big reasons I really didn't get to the level that I wanted to. I mean, I might do well in like some tournaments here, like West Coast tournaments or whatever, get top 8 or whatever, 9th place. But I mean, I think the reason why I didn't get pushed up higher is because I just didn't, you know, go to get that experience by traveling.
I know you were talking about it, but next year we all three of us should go to some.
Oh yeah, I really I
sponsor
if you guys really feel like, if you really want to go somewhere, like you going to see or something, just let me know, and just let me know, and then I'll see if I'll be like, oh, maybe I'll go. But no, I too. So I mean, to any new and up and coming player, I really do suggest that you guys need, besides supporting your you know, your scene and all that shit, if you really do want to get good and it's something that you want to take more than just a hobby or as a passion and shit, and something that you really think you can get good at, is you have to travel to out of state tournaments or just more bigger events and stuff. So.
Yeah, one of the saddest things was when I saw Nick play on stream. I think it's when he went to Kombat Breaker with you, Kadar, and he played against this law player. Forget
just
his
say
name,
it, that black guy. I know you want to say that black guy. He was dancing on stage beating Nick, dude. You remember that, Cody?
Yeah, like I was so pissed off that I'm like, fucking hell, Nick. Like I know you can beat this guy. Like you're better than you know than what I was watching. I was like, he's better than this shit, but he's not. Isn't
that's what it is,
style?
That's what it is.
That style.
It's because
the nerves.
What law players do we have in San Diego?
True.
And then you can only get so far with like fundamentals, as in, you know, and then a different play style and everything. So I mean, it's just one of those things where it's just like, and is Nick is so and so taking the time learning these matchups? Like I remember one of your episodes, Ian, you're talking about how you might be able to beat the best player ever or whatever, but then you might lose to that one random Lily player or one random Lucky Chloe because I'm not worried about it because that character sucks. But then you just get blown up and your friends are like, what the hell happened? You're better than this guy. Yeah. You don't want that feeling, because that's the feeling, Ian, that you made Nick feel. You know what I mean? It's like you know you could beat this guy. You lose to some no name, and I just saw you almost beat Anakin. You know what I mean? It's just like, you beat Anakin and you lose to, Job Squad fan number 1. You know what I mean? Like, it's just and you want better for your teammates.
Wait, hold up. You're Job Squad fan number 1.
But see, that's part of the reason why, like talking about TTF, like that's also why I would like to show up as much as I could, and I would like playing different characters too. I would have like a season where I would just play, fucking Paul for a few months. So I would play like the character, not the player.
Yeah, totally.
I would play, just random shit like that, and then picked up Josie and picked up all these characters. I'm like, I feel like the people at TTF are lacking a matchup experience.
No, they are.
And I want
I 100% am too.
But that's why I wanted to play all these other characters so they can at least, I can at least help in that way. I want these guys to experience these stupid ass moves and look at, just understand what the best moves of these characters are, because I know most players don't want to do that, so I'll do that work for them, because I actually don't. I enjoy it. I enjoy learning new characters, and they gave me a reason to to want to get better at the game too, because I want to help people get better at TTF. That's why I would I tried helping Kadar out too. I wasn't sure if he was taking me too serious when I really wanted to teach him, but I gave Kadar a ton of time. How many training sessions did we have, dude? I helped out as much as I could. And
it's the downfall.
But I'm saying, like, I would put in that effort if I saw somebody who had interest in getting better at the game.
That's that I 100. I'm that's the whole reason right there. It's just like when I say how Richard does the same. That's you with our Tekken scene, and that's the thing is that how I see it too. Like this comes from the hobby, or is this a hobby? Is this a passion? Is this whatever? Or is people seeing you doing that? Like, oh, Ian's being an asshole, because we all, I guess the pros and cons too is that we're such a small group also that we're all homies too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, is Ian doing this because he's being an asshole, or is he helping us? You know what I mean? And then it's do they want to listen? Like, because I know for a fact me, like the reason I don't like asking people, or when people ask me, oh, what can I do better, or can you teach me? I turn them down, not because I don't want to do it. It's because I don't want to waste my time on something that they're not going to listen to me, and it's just like I've gone through in the Street Fighter 4 days. You know what I mean? Like it's just, but I totally understand. It's just that they have to want it. You know what I mean? Because there are times, even with me, man. Like I can't tell you how many times I've been hit by the third part of the string where that deals to crumple. You know what I mean? Why am I pressing a button where I know I should be ducking this? I know I repeat it over and over again in my head on stream. It's just that, you know what I mean? But some people are not like that. Some people are just like, oh, whatever, man. Yeah, is that safe? Okay, next time I know what to do. And you know who I'm talking. They're everywhere. There's just there are different people out there. And then sometimes it hurts though, because you, Ian, let's say you're putting your time in to do this, and then sometimes you might feel like, it's not, are you getting to these people or whatever, blah blah blah. But then that's how you make players that just start hating ours. Like I love Avery and everything, and like that whole post he had about like, oh, San Diego like doesn't want to play, that's why I go to SoCal thing. You know what I mean? That's something that I have nothing but respect for Avery. And when he does post that does hurt. I do get mad, but I also, as a competitive player, I understand where he's coming from. Yeah. Because I'm a TO, and I gotta remember that I'm a TO, but I want to be like, I was a competitive player, so I understand where it's coming from. But it also hurts when I am trying to build something like that down here. But then you just have different attitudes where you have your mentality in where you still want to help people out, but you have, oh, fuck this, I'm going somewhere else where there's better players because, But like I said, I have nothing against anyone, but it's just, that's why I have so much like respect for, like you and Richard and other people that stick around and try to teach new people.
Yeah, and like there was a time where I was only going to majors with Avery because nobody else was down to go, and I get it.
And there's nothing wrong with that though, because who, you know what I mean? He is one of the best players in the West Coast and in SoCal, and he's like, I'm not saying he's taking you under his wing, but it's like, yeah, fuck it, I'll go. That's a good training partner. You know what I mean? But,
I'm not mentioning it because I'm saying like, listen, he bad with it. I never had any issues with Avery, dude. But I'm just saying like there was a point where I was only traveling with him because nobody else was down to go.
Exactly. Yeah, no,
he was actually like really interested in getting better all the time, so it's perfect. Like we were able to we really played with each other, but it was once Avon kind of had his own little gathering. But overall, like when it came to traveling, it was like most of him who was down. He was down for every event. He'd just be like, hey, let's go to Summer Jam, let's go to this, go to that, and I'm like, all right, cool, like, I'm down to go.
that's what makes the good players though. I wish that I wasn't such a bitch to like ask for days off. You know what I mean? I wish I didn't. You know what I mean? Like that's my one main thing is I'm really afraid to ask for days off because I don't want to lose my job or I don't want people to my I guess bosses thinking that this guy doesn't want to work here because I do want to work and I'm trying to get I'm trying to get stuff going at the house. You know what I mean? But it's just that I'm always down to go and trying to make something a schedule about it because like I said like what better partner would be, Avery? I mean, like I said, like at Evo, my Evo run where like I almost made it to like fucking top whatever when I was like when I almost fucked Ryan Hart up and shit. Dude, Ian was completely or not Ian. Avery was behind me, like coaching me and talking to me and shit. You know what I mean? Like he had my back 100%, bro. Like he was telling me what to do, what not to do and stuff. But
that's the what I respect about Avery is the competitor aspect of him. Because like for me, I he's like killer, dude. He's
and I also
like, when he gave advice and shit, that's badass.
Yeah. He's I also think it's because I was listening to him, he didn't stop. You know what I mean? It's not like I was like, oh, whatever, man, and like and I just wasn't listening. He just walks away. You know what I mean, I was listening and asking him questions, which I think a lot of people like. You know what I mean? Like that's why I'm probably ranting right now, but all this like coaching shit, like I'm coaching, like I don't believe in that shit because it's like it's so hard to coach people in a fighting game because you can only tell someone to do so much in so little time. Yeah. Like it's really like it's really a college course, man. You need that much time. You just can't. And how some of these people are paying like $100 for like a session, dude. Like you can't learn. So who's gonna drop so much money within those days to like? Yeah. And then I'm sorry. And then, like,
I think coaching it can work, but it has to be like, let's say you and I train together, and we sort of know. I know what you know, and you know what I know. So like I can help you out if you're in the middle of a match. Maybe you forget something like, hey, dude, I'm noticing that he's doing a lot of this. You have a move that can beat that. Like, you can't just be a random, like, you've never been coached by Avery before. And if he starts coaching you all of a sudden at a random tournament, it's not going to be as effective as someone that you actually train with and you both know, like, each other's strengths and weaknesses. I think it could work, but you have to actually structure, like, a coaching session before tournaments and find out how to actually help each other and keywords, it's hard to just do that shit on the spot.
Well, you also got to remember too is everyone's not a fast learner. I'm not a fast learner, so there are times when I hear people saying that's a 2 break. You can duck that, and I'm still getting hit by it. The thing is, I know that I can duck that, and I even tell myself when I get hit by it. But it's because I in the end I'm a slow learner. Trust me, I'm not getting like I know you can do that. Like thank you guys for coaching me. I know I can do that, but it's just that don't get mad at me like because I'm getting hit by it. It's just I know my faults in the game. Like I'm just a slow learner. And it's gonna take a while, bro.
I don't think that really works on the spot. You can't.
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
Again, that has to be a reminder. It's like one time I went to WNF and I played against I think it was against Sukin. It was like the one time that I was in Winterside Grand Finals and I ended up getting fucked up, in the reset. But Leo Meyer, I think it was at that one. He kept shouting out a bunch of lay specific counters and that's that in that stance he has this crane and he tried telling me everything before the match and I'm like
it's so easy to be the sideline guy and say that's unsafe, that's that you could duck that, you know what I mean, and then you lose like why didn't you do this, like motherfucker, like
it's called chili sprouting, dude, and I think that shit does not work, dude.
Backseat game. No, I mean I ended up telling him, I'm like, dude, I honestly I did not even use anything that he told me. I just said all the time like I'm not gonna let this scramble my brain in the middle of a match. But I said it all the time. I'm like, dude, I can't pick all this up right now. Like I didn't do my homework, so it's too late. Like fuck it, I'm just gonna go in there and figure it out. And, and then Sukin beat me. I knew he beat me with some cheesy shit because even afterwards he was like, hey dude, that's a 2 break. He kept spamming like the stupid stance throw, but I'm like, it's all right, like I'm not pissed. Like I know I lost because of me, like
and you know what? You can admit it. You admit it. It's you. It's not like, oh, this game's stupid or blah, blah. You admit that the problem is that it's me. It's me. Yeah. There are people that can't get through that. It's always something else, and they can't admit that it's their fault why they lost. Yeah.
Yeah. So I like once that happened, I'm like I wasn't even mad. I lost because I was just hoping at that tournament that he did not that he just did not figure out that I do not know lay as well as he thought I did. Because I put him in loser's side. I was like, I hope Avery handles them and then I don't have to deal with lay again. But then I think he ended up in grand finals. He realized that I didn't know lay, and then he just started digging through his fucking
That's the scary thing about players like that too. If you're a good player and you smell blood in the water, you will take advantage of it. So that bear sweep's not safe or this move's not safe. But if you keep getting hit by it and you're not doing anything about it, I'm gonna keep doing it. But in the end of the tournament, that's all I always do at TTF was that. if I beat you and everything, and I fuck you up, like I'm gonna tell you why you're losing. I'm like, hey, back to one, you can duck the second hit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Instead of, why do you tell him that? It's because I want him to get better, and I want me to get better by him, punishing it. So it teaches me not to do it as much as, you know what I mean? It's just you have to help each other out. Like it's just.
Yeah.
But of course, in the tournament, I'm gonna spam the fuck out of it if it's gonna make me win. But in the end, like, hey, yo, bro, you can duck that. You can launch punish that. You know what I mean? Just blah blah blah.
So I mentioned all that because we were talking about coaching and all that.
Yeah.
But I don't think it really works if you've never really
Yeah, there has to be some chemistry there or something there. You just can't be like some random guy like, hey, I'm gonna because I mean that's happened to Richard. And I
remember one time at that same tournament at Summer Jam. When I said I was like my weirdest best performance, but at that tournament I played against Trungy, and I was still on winner side, and I was doing really good. This is back when Trungy was playing Geese, and Geese was fucking cheap as fuck, and I was doing okay, and then I kept hearing Avery shouting out like, "Oh, he doesn't have meter. You can use moves that are -14, and you're all right." I'm like,
ooh,
what the fuck? Yeah, you think, oh, but I'm like, why would I just start throwing out moves that are -14 just because he doesn't have meter, right? Like, this is like the weirdest thing, and I did, I'm like, I'm gonna trust him just because I feel like Avery might know his shit, but no, that was really stupid advice. It really was. It was shit advice, and I
got punished. Wait, what is?
I got punished for it. Like he had no meter, and I threw out like Steve's I think it's just his up 2. It's like just that big ass launcher that he has.
You didn't get launched though. You just got
but listening to bad advice made me do something really stupid that I would have not done. Like I was not satisfied with doing that move at all, whether it hit or not, and I did it just because he just threw out that piece of advice.
Yeah, if you have to be told in the moment, it's too late for sure.
Yeah, but there's definitely good ways of coaching, because I've seen people like Joey Fury and Kodokor, like they coach each other, and you see sometimes, I'm not sure if it might just be a coincidence, but you see them do better in certain rounds or in certain matches. I'm not sure if it's just because they really do know each other's play styles, and they do train to do well in tournaments. But
no, I'll just say no. It's
okay.
No, it is something. Like I said, playing a lot of tournaments, when you have that backup, that positive backup, not even someone telling you to like what to do, but just someone saying, "Hey, man, you can do this." Like calm down. That does help a lot.
Yeah,
dude, I feel like I'm choking though. So for me,
it's everyone's different though. So I
think I'm letting people down. If people are watching me, I'm letting them down. Like my best, I don't know. I cannot deal with that's so crazy. I don't know.
My one word of advice. So every time I'm at Evo, and then I always have, if I have certain people around me, I always feel like I don't want to let them down, or I just feel like a whole different level. So it was always Lagade, it was Dre, Richard, you know what I mean? But the one piece, and it's a joke, it's not even a joke, this was real advice that's become like a troll joke or something. But the best piece of advice I got from anyone is Lagade, and it's play solid. That is just that, play solid. And that can mean so many things. So during a tournament, when I hear that, it was, just play solid. It's like, in my head, I'm thinking, before the next match, play solid. So what am I doing? I always think, what am I doing wrong? Just play, just get your shit together. You know what I mean? Don't throw out these moves. Don't do this. Just get your shit together. But that's always like, for me at least, every time I had people on my back, and like I feel like I always played most, because you know what I mean. This is it's just that support is always like it's a power up sometimes, and even shit talking can be a power up too, man. But
yeah, like fucking Leon telling me, "Hurry up, dude, and lose so we can go get Korean barbecue."
Oh my
that's
God.
Fucked up. That's fucked up. I mean, that's dude, like
Leon's a bitter, washed up bitch. Fuck.
I love Leon too, but it's one of those like, it's like I feel like Leon was there for another reason. Of course, I'm pretty sure you want to do good, but it's like but Ian, you're there too, and then it's
dude,
like,
Leon's like Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite. Like he thinks about what could have been, dude.
Like, why would you tell someone that is like, you're like a new to the game, you're a youngin, and you have so much potential. You know what I mean? So, and you're telling someone like that, like, hey, hurry up so we can eat. That's so fucking like you have a shot still.
There's more lore. I'll tell you other Leon lore.
Well, I mean,
other reasons.
It doesn't matter.
I'm not really, dude. Leon is one of he's actually one of the guys that I got really close to from TTF. Like I've met this dude's family.
I still think he's a bitch. I'm still gonna.
I mean, I don't mind whatever you have against him, but I'm saying I don't actually have any hate towards him. Yeah, you have.
But to second that though, I'm sorry, but the second that though too is that I think because Leon also is a TTF head, as in I think what a lot of people don't understand about TTF is we talk shit to each other all the time, and like it could be your best friends, but we will like you were talking about how we boo each other, like we will boo. So like when Richard wins at something big, and we're all booing him, but it's like and everyone's like, what the hell? Why are they booing? But it's like it's one of those like inside jokes. It's like So I feel like maybe Eon, even though Leo was telling you hurry up so we can win, in the end I'm pretty sure he doesn't want you to lose. You know what I mean? It's just that I think that's one of the SDFGC things too, at least for TTF, is that we all talk shit to each other and we have thick. It's a thick skin thing.
It wasn't. I didn't really get offended by it, but every time he said it, hold on. Every time he said that, and I would win my match, I would talk shit to him, like, because he kept saying, oh, like, you're gonna, just hurry up, whatever, but every time I would win, it would feel even better because I'm, sort of like shutting him up, but I didn't really take it, too hard or anything. It was just, I just thought it was funny that's like the, like my teammates' advice versus like some other players' teammates' advice, like, I just thought that was funny.
All right, wait, hold up, Cody. Do you have some other shit to say?
No. Go for it.
Okay, bro. Okay. So T7, we're still in that T7 era, and you're running tournaments for multiple games, Street Fighter 5, Dragon Ball Z, and shit like that.
Yeah.
And then the house, some shit goes down at the house. Like bees are found in the wall.
Oh man, the 420 incident.
The queen that I put in the wall. No, I'm joking. Like, what the fuck happened? Like, what? I remember there was like a little error in the middle. I'm not talking about re-up error or anything like that, but some changes had to be made and shit like that. And
that was part of the Mitchell Switch thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, around then, the house had to be just put on hiatus.
Well, I think the house has been okay. So I might be mixing up stories here, but I think the roof isn't in terrible condition. So it was one of those like safety things. Like, all right, man, we don't want anyone like. What I mean? We'll have that once in a while, like once a month, blah blah blah. And then it stopped raining. It's all right. We'll just whatever. But pretty much like the icing, the icing on the cake was the Mitchell Switch situation. So I know we brought it up earlier, but someone stole someone's Switch, and it just made me mad. Where it's like, you know what? After the 13th year anniversary, I'm closing doors down until like if no one returns this, then I'm kind of over it. You know what I mean? Because I'm not like trying to punish you, or I mean, I was punishing. I was mad, dude. I was like, you know what? I don't want shit this to happen no more. So I was like, all right. So we took the hiatus. But then I was thinking, I was talking to some people. I was like, dude, do I really want to punish so many people that like for something one guy did? You know what I mean? So I think this was like I closed down. It was after like the Victrix. So we had like the 13th anniversary party at the house, which was fucking amazing. Then we had the Victrix tournament after that. And then after that was like nothing. The Switch didn't come up, so I was like, "Damn, I have to do this, dude. I'm not gonna like bitch out on my word." But then like 2 or 3 months happened, and that's why I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll open the house once a month because I don't want I'm not gonna punish everyone just because of one thing. So the day I decided to open doors was it was April 20th. It was a Saturday, but I came home one day and then there was just bees in the living room, and there was always. And I'm not lying. I have pictures, I have videos. There's photo evidence. But for a while, there was like a bee hive on the side of my house. And I thought I got rid of it. I got the water hose, knocked it down, and they were gone. And then, winter came along, they're just dead. Every once in a while, like bees would be there. And then for some reason, they just disappear. Oh, there's no bees here anymore. But one day, like there's like bees in the living room. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And then there's like a hole in the corner of the wall, and I poke it, and like part of the ceiling falls out, and there's just a swarm comes out. I'm like, oh my god! So then I run to my room. I'm like, dude, we have to cancel this shit. Like, I have to like, man, it was such.
You had people from LA coming down for that.
They were coming down, but luckily, like, I think they were halfway there, and then they saw the post. Like, what the fuck, dude? It was so bad. It just came out of nowhere. But I just thought it was like literally. I just thought it was like that section of the wall. So one morning I was like, I need to call like a specialist, dude. I was trying to get rid of the problem by myself. Like I put a trash bag. I just ghetto rigged a bee suit, and I was just like, I was like cutting, like I was like spraying like Lysol and like shit in the hole. Like, maybe I'm killing all these guys because maybe they're just in this small area. Yeah. But then but one day like it was like, you know what? I have to call someone. You know what I mean? Like this is. Dude, and you find out that like literally like half, like the quarter of the ceiling was a giant beehive. This dude took out honeycombs. It was
oh my god, honeycombs!
It was such a fuck show that like, man, I'm like, if I didn't have my tax, I had to spend my whole tax return on this because that's how expensive it was. It was so expensive that if I didn't have that, I didn't know what was due. It was such a shit show. But after that, it was like I had it once a week and just like, I mean, it just became once a week, and then COVID just started happening, and it was just, I don't know, man. It's just up and downs, but.
I feel like he opened back up more fully.
No, I did. Well, no, yeah. No, Tekken 7 came out, I think, and then or whatever, and then I opened up a lot more, and then
No, Tekken 7 had already been up, but I think like this is where like I stopped coming, and it was like 2019 or some shit or 2018.
I think, but in the end, yes, you're correct that I did open up more Friday again. But I think so. What happened is when COVID hit, it's like you get unmotivated, and it's just like I don't know. It's just a lot of emotions, I guess, happens. And I was just like, I finally decided like, oh, this is like a perfect time to trying to get shit done. But then so much, I mean, you guys know, man, I don't know if you know, so much shit has happened in my life with like just quitting my job, working for Amazon, getting attacked by the dog, like also all this.
You got attacked by a dog?
Hold on, what? You know about this? This is the real lore. Hold on. Before we get to that,
yeah.
But dude, okay, yeah. So I was gonna say like before COVID, I feel like T7 happened and like Jacob and those dudes started showing up, right? Or like appeared, right?
Yeah. Mayo, they were doing man. I mean, it's just so like I said, like there's so much lore at the house. You know what I mean? Like it's like a 2 or 3 part episode, but I mean, it's just that.
Yeah, we'll have to do another one.
Yeah, there's so many people that just Mayo. I think I was hearing you, Ian, said you've never seen him, but he's been to the house a couple of times.
What?
Yeah, he's been to the house once or twice. Rob, Quinn, like just a bunch of just like new people were coming out. I had opened more, and then people, like I always knew though, like the house was just in bad condition, and then there's just always like, you know what I mean? It's like we all know, or if you know, blah blah blah. But it's just, I think COVID was just kind of like it just killed it, and then I was just really unmotivated. It was just sad. I was really like, I kind of felt like, damn, without TTF, like, what am I type of thing? And it was like, I'm not doing anything.
I think you're full of shit. I'm going to call you on that, but you were one of the most money-making TOs on Match Arena. So I feel like during COVID, you worked your ass off. So I want to stop you by saying
okay.
That.
Well,
I know it took a while to like figure out.
It took a while to get there though, because for a while I wasn't doing online tournaments, or I was trying, and it was just on and off. But then the thing is, you don't know. I didn't know that I was gonna be like the top 100. Like reeling in $9,000. You know what I mean? Like you don't know that.
Higher average than NLBC.
No, wasn't that higher? Yeah.
Oh, I looked up. I
looked up to NLBC. That was like the one I was always trying to be. But on like I had to force myself to do online tournaments. I don't like online tournaments or online fighting games for me is like it killed my my drive for fighting games. But then it's also one of those things is I'm a TO, and it's something I still enjoy doing, and it's something that I know people love doing, and or love playing in, and they look forward to. So I had to find something like a somewhere in the middle where it's like, okay, how can I do this where I can like, fucking keep myself the most sane. You know what I mean? I was like, fuck it, we'll just do it once a month. But I know, but every time we missed out, I mean, people do miss them. You know what I mean? I get messages, I get like, you know what I mean? Like I said, like it might be an 8-man tournament. Like, fucking the Super Battle Kitchens, man. You got how do you get like $400-$500 for a single limb tournament, and some other venues can't even, you know what I mean? It just blows my mind about like the people supporting everyone. You know what I mean? And not even sometimes supporting, but even people are not lucky enough to have a TO that just throws money into a pot because the song from Children of the Atom. You know what I mean? Like, it's just we're lucky to have our scene. You know what I mean? I think I always say that I believe the SCFGC is a very, very unique and special scene, and I'm really proud of it.
Yeah, I'm gonna say like so Cody did a bunch of online tournaments, Super Battle Kitchen. They had trailers, it was fucking badass,
and they were all amazing. Yeah,
big pot or not big pot, but like relative to like what you'd expect at a local, like for being pure Match Arena. Yeah, these were big pots. Yeah, I'll just say it. And and this week it resumes. Say season 2 SBK is what it's called, like, or I don't know what it's called, but it's already, so this Tekken one's already like at $140.
Do you want me? Is it alright if I talk about it? Like if I just say a rundown about it?
Yeah, please. Yeah, we're gonna promote it. Plus, we're also gonna promote Save TTF and all that shit. So yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah. Basically, like I said, I would run these like I was doing it like it evolved, right? First, it was like every last weekend. So Friday, Street Fighter, Tekken, Saturday, Guilty Gear Sunday. And it became like, I want to do shit over the weekend. So let's have every Friday a single limb tournament. And, but now, and then I just said, I don't want to do this anymore. I'd rather play like Warzone or Apex or enjoy my weekend because, just, I'm going to say, dude, online Guilty Gear, like just Guilty Gear Strive just brought out the fucking, like the worst out of people, man. Like I was just like, I don't want to deal with these people anymore. But I feel like I was punishing a lot of people that I liked. You know what I mean? Because there might be a whole bunch of bad eggs, but there's a couple of good ones in there. You know what I mean?
Warrior.
Yeah. Or even that Nagaruki guy. Remember like that whole freaking holy crap, man. That was amazing and like ridiculous at the same time. Like, dude, these people out here exist. And I had to deal with them. You know what I mean? Like, but so then I said, you know what? I still want to do stuff for my scene. I still want to do stuff for everyone, and I know people like them. And I was like, you know what? Let me just focus on the one I love the most. Tekken. I love every fighting game, but you know what? Let me focus on Tekken. I love it. It's one of my favorite fighting games. It brings the most viewers. It brings the most players out, and it's just And if I just do it once a month, I can really just work on it, focus on it, and do something. So what I'm going to do with it am doing it is I'm going to make it like a round robin. So there's gonna be 5, whatever. In the end, basically, I'm gonna have one once a month. There's gonna be points involved, and first place is gonna get like a prize. But then I'm also starting off early, where there's the Matcherino. Starting with the Matcherino, you put money in it for all you guys. We start early to see how much we can get in it. There's like the incentives. For every sub I get on the channel, I throw $1 in. For every $50 we make, I throw another 5 in. If you use all the coupon codes, I throw. I'm always trying to find a way to make the pot big. But in the end, it's not always about the money, but it's just also something there that shows that, I care for you guys and I want you guys to, be rewarded. But yeah, it's going to be a Tekken tournament. There's rules and everything. There's a page on it. I post more about it I post on it about the Twitter and the Discord and shit, but it's all there. And then if you want like a link or something, I'll retweet it or like give it to them and shit. But it's going to happen once a month. And, 25% of the money in the Matcherino goes to the GoFundMe. There is a GoFundMe, and we're trying to get the house back in opening shape. COVID is still a factor, but also the condition of the house is another big factor. But I at least want to get it to the point where I can maybe open the doors for some casuals to have a small group of people. I am talking to a lot of people, about what we are going to do in procedures of when the house opens back up for tournaments. Because of this, COVID and everything. But there's a lot of things going on behind curtains right now, and this job I have right now is like I always say it too. Like this is the first job I really started saving money and just like I don't know. I just see that there's like the ball is rolling finally, and it took a while, but it's finally getting somewhere. There's like stuff happening, and yeah, I'm just thanks for all the support, and there's just I'm trying to get the doors up open for you guys.
For sure. Yeah, that's badass. So, future plans for a TL. What's the first thing you're gonna do after? Wraps us up with what's the first thing you're gonna do after COVID ends? Is there like a plans you have for offline, like an offline event? Obviously, maybe if it lines up with like one Emperor's Cup usually is or something, but like
pretty much you said it. I want to open up doors to a PHS. I want to say it's gonna be 7 or I think it's 8. I don't think it's gonna matter what month it is, but when I open doors, it's going to be a PHS. So the first event at TTF is going to be a PHS when I open doors up.
Okay, but it could be any month, right?
It could be any month, and there are precautions. Like I have a plan written out and shit, or how we're going to do shit with like the mask, the vaccination cards, and how we're going to clean out the back area where there's only one entrance to get in, and I'm going to keep the front door locked the whole time. You know what I mean? There's things we're going to do, so we just.
Dude, I know somebody. I know somebody who could clean that backyard. I know just the guy.
He already hit me up, by the way. Yeah,
Rico
was the only one. Yeah,
my bad. I knew you knew. My bad. Why didn't you?
But there's I have plans, and we have like I want to like as much as I love the house, so I want to make like the front room the big one. I want to make that like a just straight up arcade style room. I'm trying to get like the industrial carpet, easy to clean shit, and Just I don't know. I mean, there's plans, but it's slowly gonna get there. But I mean, there's a lot of progress going on that some people don't know
that's
about.
good, dude. It's a good time to have like a fresh reset on how you want to structure the TTF, and that way you don't let it like get beat down the way it did before. You have some structure to make it a bit cleaner, and that way people don't. No, go ahead.
No, you're completely right, and I do feel like people are finally realizing that too. As in, I didn't, when you're young, like you gotta remember, TTF opened up when we just got out of high school, so we're just
you were a kid,
underage drinking. We don't care, like, and the house wasn't that bad, but then I get control of the house, and it just gets beat up over and over, and then in reality, I don't have a fucking like a salary that can keep up with all this shit, so you just scumbag your way out through a lot of stuff, man, and. I'm fucking pushing like about to be like 35, and it's just one of those like, you finally, you're seeing the business, I guess, aspects of like, this, you know what I mean? Like, but also, I'm still gonna keep to the roots, you know what I mean? As arcade, fuck esports type of thing, and just like we're just here to play, get good, and fuck shit up type of deal, you know what I mean? But I still want to be opening to new players and everything, and just. Without the RBs and all that shit, but
that's definitely the biggest shame about COVID is like all the shit that could have happened in the last 2 years. That's fucking crazy.
It also just sucks too because before COVID, we were getting big numbers for. I was trying to build up the Street Fighter 5 scene again. We're getting big numbers for it. We're being consistent with the stream. We were streaming every tournament. We had. I was keeping up with the YouTube channel. You know what I mean? Like I was doing stuff that you shouldn't be doing. And working on the YouTube channel, working on Discord, like I spent hours like pimping, like making Discord look nice, and then COVID happens, and you just lose all motive. You know what I mean? I wasn't working, you just lose all motive because for a while my job was TTF. You know what I mean? Like, so I had to do my best to keep the door open to get people playing in tournaments to like have money to keep the doors open. You know what I mean? But I just always want to say in the end too, before I don't want to cut you off, but it's like, but in the end, to me though, it's like not about the money, but it you know what I mean?
It's for sure not about the money. And there's morons that I've like heard in passing at TTF who think that like, oh yeah, he's making money and shit like that. I can't even tell you who they are.
I'm not making
shit. Just call them out. Should I call them out?
Go for it, dude.
DJ Masters. I remember when I first started going to TTF. He'd be like, "Oh, he doesn't know what he's doing with the money," and I was like, I was thinking in my head, like, "What money? Like, this is just some dude's house." Like, when I was
I mean, I love DJ too because he was one of my the homies. But in my head, it's like if you guys want to do the math and like if you get like
money,
there's no money because it's the mortgage, the electricity, the water, you know what I mean. Like, if anything, I'm probably there's no money. There's no money.
Yeah,
but now, especially back in the day, those were the days where I wasn't really relying. I didn't have you know what I mean? Like I don't know. Yeah, there's no money. There's people that think there's money in something like this. Like there's a lot of groups in San Diego that probably opened up, and I think their downfall was thinking that they could make money. And I remember every time I would have meetings with these groups, I would always say, my first like opener was like, dude, there's no money involved in this. So what are you what are you really doing? And they would get mad, they'd get offended. And in the end, look what happens. Because I think everyone always thought everyone opening or new people were always trying to do like an esports,
they were all like plan. They're trying to business plan.
They're all like college people from like trying to open a new club up, and then
what's the revenue source? What can we sell?
They get names like Cody. We heard you were the guy to talk to, and when I tell them it's like, what? How does that make sense? You know what I mean? But in the end, it's just like we're soul skaters, bro. Like it's not about money. I'm like, I mean, I would love to make a living off of it, but in reality, it's one of I agree with Rico. It's like, dude, it's not the reality that there isn't money in it. You know what I mean? You have to have a fall plan, and then like I'm just happy that this is a side thing that I love doing.
So, what are your long-term? Do you have like long-term goals? Like by the end of your time, like do you want to like have like maybe rent a space out one day for like a crazy major or something?
Yeah. So my long-term goal maybe. Well, I want to have TTF as long as I can. I mean, you know what I mean? If not always through my house, maybe through something. I would love to try to throw a major in San Diego, or at least help someone try to throw a major. But I don't want to say I'm hard to work with because I don't. When people always ask, "Oh, Cody can help you," I turn a lot of people down. Even like friend like David. Like people that I know, I usually don't like helping. Or not like helping. Like I'll provide shit, but I don't like putting my name on other people's tournaments only because. Not even if I would like get like maybe like rent out like some nice like ballroom for a day or so and trying to have something, but I mean that takes like planning, But I think a long-term goal I would have, honestly, is just to get TTF back opened, get the locals going back, or at least the San Diego local or TTF local going back. Having a major, just focusing on the SCFGC, man, like I've always been.
Yeah. I was gonna say it'd be cool if you guys planned something like that with like all the people who are TOs in San Diego. Yeah. That way, it wouldn't feel like a whole one-man operation. You'd have everybody be on board, and everybody could promote. Maybe if they have their own locals.
I would be 100%. Yeah, I would think if that was to happen, because you know how David has Hyper Bomb, and I think David's pretty much the only one doing it. But like, start something new. So like, me, David, whoever else gets together, and we just start this new thing, and we try to work together. And not like the saying, too many chefs in one kitchen. We all have to have a plan. We have to, we have to agree with everything and just something. But then again, I wouldn't mind throwing my own major because a lot of the people that do have these big majors are one man shows. Jabali, Rick. But they have an awesome team backing up, and I believe I can get an awesome team. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm sure honestly, you're at the level where you could be like, "This is my thing, and what I say goes." Like, that's definitely the way you should do it. Where it's like, you can collab, but like, you would definitely be the creative director or some shit.
Yeah, but I mean, I before I die or anything, I would want to see like a big, not like a big major in San Diego, not just like some. PHS or Hyper, like no, like something like that, like international.
That people want to travel to,
something that people want to travel to.
And it could totally happen. San Diego is like the city that a lot of people.
It's the best.
People would want to travel here. We just need we need to have like a tournament that would entice these players to actually come out. But I could totally see that happening, in the future. But
if you're listening to this and you've never been to San Diego, it's the best city in California. And I think when TTF offline opens back up, like, I remember you made a joke about some guy like from England, like he came.
That wasn't a joke.
Yeah, it wasn't a joke. It was a joke, but like he came out to like TTF and like he kept trying to contact you to figure out like the exact address, and it just didn't work out or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I think like your response to him was like, "Come on, dude! I bet you didn't come to America just for TTF."
Yeah.
I think you should come to SoCal for all the shit that you can do, but if you had never like been to like this kind of thing, like you should definitely come out for that. Like you should make a big part of your trip. Like I think if I lived in England or some shit, like you should come to TTF or some shit. Like it's
maybe he did. Maybe he was like, I'm in San Diego right now and I really do want to come. Maybe he did. You know what I mean? But it's just that's like 19-year-old Cody. Like, come on, bro. Like you didn't come all the way here just for me. You know what I mean? Like
it's a local experience. I don't think you can get any more. Because once in Minnesota, dude, all those things were at comic book shops, like mall video game shops. Like it never felt cool. Like when I first went to TTF, it was like, oh shit, I gotta be, not only do I have to be funny and cool here, but I have to actually be decent at games. Otherwise it's over, kind of thing. Like it definitely makes you want to be a better person in like a bunch of different ways. It's a really badass place. But I don't know. I mean, you should be really proud of yourself, Cody. I think you've done more than a lot of people. Like you've accomplished a lot.
I think when like I don't want to say like a humble guy. Every time when someone brings up something like that, I'm like, oh no, that's like, it's whatever. You know what I mean? Like, but I'm just grateful for you guys to like have you guys saying that. You know what I mean? Because I hardly feel like I just talk. I mean, I could talk shit and be like, if it wasn't for me, you guys would be nothing. You know what I mean? One of those like, or like if you want to get good, there's only one place. For a while it was like that. Like, if you want to, if like I would get mad at people, it'd be like, because people would complain about TTF or there's no incentive to play. I'm like, look, motherfuckers, like if you want to be the best, you got to play with the best, and the best play at the house. Unfortunately, you know what I mean. Yeah. So you either show up or don't. You know what I mean? Yeah. But when like people talk to like fucking like I had people would go to like at fucking Strong Style, dude be like going up to like Eris, be like, oh, you know who this guy is? Like he has TT, and then in my head like, dude, I know Eris, bro. Like you know what I mean? Like it's just like oh, I heard a lot about you. Like no, don't worry about me, dude. I'm like I'm no one. You know what I mean? But then
are you talking about Luke?
No, what?
Who was the guy who was like? Do you know who Cody is or some shit? Or
no, that was so. If you're talking about Nick when he was at the Vitrix, I don't know if you're there, but he kept going up. He's like, "Oh, let me introduce you to Justin Wong."
No. Like, someone was like, "Do you know who Fast Hands Cody is?" Or something. Never mind.
No. But in the end, it's like I mean, I like to. I don't like being in the spotlight. You know what I mean? It's just like I hate the term like if you know, but it was always like, you got to be there type of thing. That's why I wasn't streaming for a while too, tournaments, like, because you had to be there. I really feel like you just had to be there at the moment.
I remember that was the first thing I asked when I first met you. I was like, dude, why don't you stream this? Like, I would definitely love to watch this shit. And you were like, no, you got to be here and experience it. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah.
But then you could attract a lot more people if you do streaming. It's so fun when we play.
But that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing, though.
That was the whole thing. But now it's like, I do understand that. I'm trying to get more people interested. I want people, you know what I mean? So, I mean, I guess that's something that I learned. It's a lesson. I'm still learning. You know what I mean? This is one of those things. Like, but for the longest time, it was you had to be here. This was like an underground fight club.
I think Cody.
Type of deal.
Yeah, you're really good at doing stuff unconventional. I remember one time I asked you, like, why don't you put your podcast on RSS feed? So I don't know if you ever remember this. Remember I asked you this a long time ago? Okay. Yeah. But Cody here, he has 135, 137 podcast episodes of FGC content, local scene content. That's like, it's an amazing podcast. It's hilarious, but it's all on YouTube. So I'm going to put the link in the description, but like Cody does everything, but like he does it for himself, or he's really cool about it. I don't know how to put it, but it'd be cool if we could get more eyes on it too. I think that's definitely cool too. You stream too. That's badass.
Yeah, I'm not that good at it, but yeah, it's fun. It's something it's something I enjoy doing.
For sure. Dan, I feel like we talked. What is this? 3.5 hours? Yeah, it's 3.5 hours. I think we should wrap up now, but Cody's definitely the one person where we say, hey, we should have this person back on. When we say, hey, we should have this person back on, most people say, don't get back to us, but Cody's definitely be the person who gets back to us.
I'm still waiting for another SPO podcast thing. But no, I'm 100%. I'm always down to talk, or I always like talking about the old days, or thoughts about this community or scene, or I mean, I'm always down. I'm always down. I like
and
you guys.
Can do this in any order too. So like, if you listen to this and like, oh, I forgot to talk about this or this, we'll just do another one. So okay.
Well, I mean, before I want to say something, if it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be playing Ganryu or that the era where I was trying to play Tekken again, man. You guys really motivated me to start playing again. You know what I mean? And
you mean Ian, not me? Definitely nothing.
Well, I mean, your podcast, your guys' podcast, man. I mean. Because for a while I was the jobber, and then I became Ian again, So
that's badass.
But no, I mean, I really mean it, and I really do hope. I really, I mean it when I say is that you guys have a really good podcast. There's a lot of trolls out there, but I really do think you have a great podcast, and I listen to them all the time at work, and I get through my work day. All your guests are enjoyable. I mean, they're not all like one hit or all home runs, but I still do enjoy listening to them. And,
he's talking about Chili Sprout and Onagai James. Sorry.
Yeah, totally. No, even even the episodes when it's just you guys, I really do enjoy. That's why I like you and Rico's podcasts are really good, because you guys are talking about so many other stuff. You know what I mean? And I think that's a lot easier to do to like keep going. You know what I mean? That's like, because you're not on just one topic. It's like that's really hard. You guys are just really, and there's I don't know. I
really started. We're kind of experimenting with with all kinds of guests. So that we're not gonna be able to learn unless we actually try things out with other guests. So that's what we're kind of like.
And I mean, all your non-SD guests have been home runs too. So I mean, it's just keep it up, man. And I mean, it's just also part of just Kadar not giving a fuck and just asking people. You know what I mean? Like that's what you need.
Definitely, yeah. No,
and impersonating me every now and then, dude.
That was a good one. No, I really mean it, man.
Running Black. He's like, I was like, Avery, why'd you come on the podcast? Because Ian asked me, you idiot. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, and I was like, what the
fuck? I was laughing so hard when I heard that, dude. Because I was just like, something you would probably 100% do, dude. That shit's so funny. Like,
okay. No, but so this Friday is a big tournament, so we got to promote that. We want everyone who listens to the podcast to be in that.
Yeah.
Are you Ian? Are you signing up? Okay, cool.
Yeah. I cleared my Friday to make sure.
It's the return. It's the return of SBK or what is it? What is it? Sorry, tell us.
It's just TT. It's a monthly. It's just a regular double M tournament. It's gonna be a monthly. It's gonna happen every last Friday of the month. And I'm trying to be more online, unfortunately, or I mean online, but I'm gonna try to be more positive about it. And I'm gonna try to promote more. I know I get lazy and I kind of forget about to promote, but I'm gonna try to be more open about it. Try to be more communicative on Discord, and just trying to get more people involved to retweeting and everything, and just just trying to get it going. And it all the match Reno is there, and it also does go to a good cause. Like 25% of it does go to the GoFundMe, and there's just a lot, man. There's I just hope you guys it should be fun. I don't know who it's gonna be streamed. I don't have a commentator because Leomar I don't know if he abandoned me, but I'm gonna ask him though. I'm gonna ask. He might be busy, but yeah, it might be a solo show, or I might force Vince to hop on. But it's usually a good time
For Tekken. Oh, come on, do not have Vince commentate Tekken.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll find someone, but mostly it's
did you get in a fight with him? Why? How come he won't come on anymore?
Ian, Will doesn't know shit, or not. I mean, Ian doesn't know shit. But
okay, yeah.
But basically, he's recovering from a penis reduction surgery.
Yeah.
Okay.
His back was just hurting. Yeah. Reach out to him, dude.
Wow.
Yeah. So here's we've never done a call to action on this podcast. We've never done a call to action. So if you guys could actually do us a favor, so here's 2 things that we actually just totally need. If you donate to the GoFundMe into the description, or donate to the Match Arena, or follow Cody here's Twitch. So like, yeah, when we say like he's the reason this podcast exists, it's like not even a joke. It's definitely kindled our passion to talk about this stuff, gave us a place to play.
That means a lot, man.
So yeah, he's your favorite TO's favorite TO, and it can't overstate that. So yeah, if you donate on the GoFundMe or whatever, let me know. I'll match you. So if you're gonna donate to GoFundMe, I'll match. Well, me and Ian will match you.
No, we don't have to do that, but okay. No, I really do. I really do. I really do like you guys, man. Like I said, like you're all newcomers, and you guys stuck around. And I wish Kadar, you came out more. I know we all, like I said, we all give each other a hard time, but I'm glad you guys stuck around, especially you, Kadar.
The lockdown hit Kadar like a year earlier than everybody else, dude.
But Ian, I'm grateful that you came out. You're such a great player, and it's awesome seeing. I mean, you're like, you just came out of the fucking out of nowhere, and you were just fucking people up with your Tekken 7 fucking car. But
yeah, what a fucking loser. We never talked about that, but he has a license plate that says Tekken 7.
I mean, I got that because I just thought it was funny, dude.
No, but I mean,
a joke.
But you might know. But I'm just saying, like you guys stuck around, and that means a lot to me. And I mean, to people sticking around, and I mean, besides the jobber side, Ian, you're a great player, man. And I remember Rip saying that you had the potential, and I really do believe that, man. There's a lot of players like I think you and Richard. I mean, I'm not even say Avery because he's like, I consider him SoCal sometimes, but when it comes down to like the real Southeast people, and I guess Richard, but yeah, you too. I always see so much potential in you too, and like I always want the best for you guys, and I always support you. But then it sucks because COVID, so it's like the motivation and shit there, and you guys got different shit going on, but. Yeah. I mean, I'm always rooting for you guys, man. Like offline and online, man.
Yeah.
So.
Do you guys know Kenny from SoCal?
Yeah, Scythe Monster or something.
Yeah, that dude used to like when I put those license plates, he used to give me the most shit. But I used to just have. I actually became friends with him because of the fucking car plates, because
he's a cool guy, man. Yeah,
he's a really funny guy. But every time we talk shit, I was like, all right, dude. Next time I see you in tournament, dude, let's see you fucking keep running your mouth, dude. But he would never beat me, and it's just the funniest shit, just talking shit with that dude. But yeah, that shit was so funny to me.
You brought that up
on Reddit too, dude.
Yeah, when you bring that up though, I remember every Wednesday night fights I went to, I would fuck him up, and then he beat me one tournament, and it hurt so much. I was like, what the fuck happened, dude? I was so sad, dude.
Yeah, because that guy makes like 90% of his play styles all mistakes, and then he's always complaining about how he drops everything. That's why.
Nothing against he's a badass dude. 100% he's badass. But I just remember that I would always beat him, and then he beat me once. I was like, it hurt. I was like, oh, what happened?
Yeah, dude. Oh man, I still got those plates. I'm gonna hang them up on my fucking wall one day, dude.
Yeah, I can't wait till Tekken 8 comes out. Your cars are
dude. So many funny memories from having those plates, dude. All
right. Shit, man. I don't have anything else.
No, we're good to go, dude.
Yeah, Ian, thank you. Cody, thank you for coming on.
No problem, man. Thank you guys, man. And like I said, I'm down anytime, man. Just hit me up.